on your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell out before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, Chrissie, to say I dabbled in stand-up is something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when the ass takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. I'm going to try to have a nice sounding voice for once. You can hear the Chrissie Mayr podcast on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening on iTunes right now, go ahead, let your fingers do the walking. Walk on over to the review button, click it, leave a nice review with a lot of stars, and I'll be oh so grateful. Yeah, daddy. So much for that. All right, I have some gigs to promote. I am going to be in Long Island, my hometown, my homeland of Long Island this weekend, November 4th and 5th. It was going to be at the Brokerage, but it was just moved to McGuire's Comedy Club in not Belmore, in Bohemia. So we were at Brokerage. We're going to be at McGuire's. It was in Belmore. Now it's in Bohemia. Both are in Long Island. I think maybe 15 minutes apart. So if you bought tickets for this show, it's don't go to Brokerage. Go to McGuire's in Bohemia. That's this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Then I will be at the Compound Media Censored TV show in New York City next Thursday, November 10th. Venue is to be announced the day of because we don't want Antifa to shut us down. Ooh, bad boys. Then I'll be back in Jersey on Thursday, November 17th at the Stress Factory Comedy Club out there in New Brunswick. Then I do have another date in December. I think December 3rd, I'm going to be somewhere else, I think in Jersey. I'm going to update that soon. Then next year, I'll be in San Diego Friday, February 24th and Saturday, February 25th. I'll be in San Diego at the Mic Drop Comedy Club. Come on out. For tickets, go to chrissiemayr.com and see me do some stand-up. I have been told that I am funny for a girl. So, I mean, that's the best compliment you could possibly get, I think. You know, I'm not trying to be as funny as a man. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to be as funny as I can for a woman. But first, that's not right. Let's try. Ooh, yes. Look at that. Guys, I want to do a quick shout out to our sponsor for this episode. And also, they sponsored the Content House over this past weekend. And we are working very hard. Our team is working. Our team is just me and like two people. We're working very hard on getting all of the Content House live stream re-uploaded to YouTube and Rumble. We're going to do a best of reel. We're going to do a Content House recap show. All of that is coming. I want to do a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Copy My Crypto. Guys, the recession is underway. Fuel is through the roof, and food prices are insane. And people have begun to lose their homes. Wow, that sounds horrible. But there's no reason to be scared, because recessions are the easiest time to make money. Take the last recession. Those who invested in property and stocks more than doubled their money inside of 2 years. Ooh, but no market rose like crypto, where people made 10, 50, even 100 times over the same period. That's what James McMahon did. On his Crypto with James YouTube channel, he told his 22,000 subscribers to invest in the same 26 coins that he did. Had you put $100 into each one, you'd been in profit more than $123,000. Wow, that's a lot of money. His top pick of the year, a crypto coin called Phantom, went up a staggering 692 times. Remember, this is all public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify this for yourself. James will be sharing every coin he buys during this recession on his Copy My Crypto membership page site. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest. You simply just copy along. I know my big brother used to beat me up a lot, but not James. He's going to show you how to do crypto. You can get started today. It's that easy. So join the 2,800 members who copy James by going to copymycrypto.com/Mayr. That's copymycrypto.com/MAYR. It's your call. You can be a broke ass bitch or you can thrive in this recession. Go visit the site and read every word now. I kind of improvised on that read a little bit. Copy my crypto. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. I was told not to sing. Okay. I'm very excited to have this gal on the podcast today. This is a long time coming, very long time coming, almost too long, almost so long that I'm embarrassed at how long it's taken to have this gal on the pod because she's basically a Simpcast regular, a good friend of mine. She is a Canadian transport to Mexico, one of my all-time favorite content creators, Ms. Nina Infinity. Oh my God, welcome.
Hi, I'm so happy to
You're
be here
here.
tonight. Oh my god. Oh my god. Turtle tickles for you.
Let's just
Yay.
do this the whole time until everyone fans out. Nina, I
Hi.
wish you could have come with us to Orlando this past weekend.
Oh my
Sorry to rub
god.
it in your face, but the vaccine rules are still pretty gay. So, but
Yeah.
you'll come to the next one or
Yeah.
event or a future one.
Hopefully a future meetup at least, at the moment that they decide to let unvaccinated people back into the country, to the US, I should say, I will be there. And I mean hopefully maybe Anime Matsuri or something like that. I think
Oh yeah,
that's far enough to know. I don't
I
know.
was I was feeling FOMO for not going to Anime Matsuri, but I was like, I don't know anything about anime. Like I felt like I was gonna stick out like a sore thumb if I went there.
I know everything about anime. Well, you know what? I should correct myself. I don't know much about new anime. I know a lot about old school anime, like, old school stuff. And I'm way more into anime than I was into American comics and like anime manga is like what I was into. So Anime Matsuri would definitely be up my alley. Besides, I just want to meet you guys. I'm like,
Oh.
I don't really care about where the place is. I just want to come hang out.
It's crazy that, like, there's people I've known, like, my whole life or last 10 years or people ever since I started comedy, and I am so much closer and feel more connected to people I've met over the internet in the last year or 2 than
Mm.
people I've known my whole life.
I totally get that because in a way I feel that way too, and I think part of that is because we kind of all got to know each other through the pandemic situation and the lockdowns, and we were kind of like our each other's anchors. At least for me, that was the case because that's kind of how I started my YouTube channel. Was I started it because I wanted to hang out with people like Anna, and she was like Anna, that Star Wars girl, and she was like, "Hey, you should make a YouTube channel, and then you can come hang out with us." And I
Oh.
was like, "Maybe I will," because I was always like stalking her in the chats. Um, but
So it was
now,
Anna. It was like Anna. It was one of your early inspirations to start YouTube.
yeah, Anna and Gary, Nerdrotic, because I originally I didn't even know what live streaming was, and then I finished this show called Game of Thrones, and I was devastated. So I went into his live stream because my husband was like, everybody's talking about how the show is shit. You should go into this guy's live stream because everybody's talking about it. So I did. And then, so through him and then Anna and everyone, I kind of just found everybody and I was like, what is this? Like, people live stream now? Like, I
Ooh.
didn't know what it
Did
was.
did you feel like a bond with them because like Anna and Gary and like I guess I would associate like Geeks and Gamers crew and maybe Comicsgate with people who came up when they started to express their anger towards franchises, altering their storylines or recasting for a modern audience, like the wokeification, I guess, of our beloved franchises. Were you coming at it from that same angle?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened because originally, like when that happened with Game of Thrones, I was like really upset about it, and then I followed Anna's content, and I was like, wait a minute, everybody else hates The Last Jedi too, because I was a huge Star Wars fan. So, and I didn't realize I was like not alone in not liking Disney Star Wars. So I realized I'm like, oh my God, I hate Disney Star Wars and I hate The Last Jedi. These people hate The Last Jedi. And I'm like, I think I found my people. So that's
Oh,
kind of like how it started. And then of course I met my friend John Talks, who you've met. You came on my channel when we were talking with John the first time, and he was also a big person in telling me to start my channel. I was start your channel, let's talk. And I kind of bugged him, and I was like, hey, because I would stalk his channel, and he was a little bit different than everybody else because he talked politics and he talks philosophy and stuff like that, and in comparison with just not just Star Wars and not just comic related or pop culture stuff. He would talk about other things. So I would be in his chat talking politics, and then I messaged him and I was like, hey, I'm thinking of starting my channel, like, do you want to do a live stream together? And then he got back to me and he invited me on a show, and that was the first like couple of weeks into the pandemic, into the
oh
lockdowns.
wow.
And he invited me on his the very first show that we did together was actually a hair cutting stream, and he was like
What
cutting
kind of
his
hair? Pubic?
no, just on his head, thank God. So I met him and Justin Popper and some other person, I forget, like Tyrone Beard. And they were like cutting their hair, and I was like, I'm not cutting my hair. I mean, you guys can cut your hair. And then it just happened to be like this really weird stream where people were just cutting their hair. And then after the stream, I was like, can I come back on where we can actually talk about stuff? Because we didn't talk about anything. And he was like, oh, yeah, sure. And then so I went back, and then we started doing really, really long streams, like all night streams, like 8, 9 hour
How do
streams.
you do an 8-hour stream?
We would
That's
just sit
so advanced
there.
to me.
We would just sit there and drink lots of different drinks and just talk about BS. Like that's all.
Maybe I need
And
to
talk about
drink.
politics and talk about what's going on with COVID at the time. So
Wow. Were
it
you afraid
happened.
of getting a strike or getting a ding or a warning?
Not at that time because it was so new, like everything
Mhm.
was just happening. So they didn't have rules yet. Like, as we went on, then they started to implement all these rules. Like you can't talk about medical misinformation because at the time no one knew what was going on. So everybody was kind of like, well, what the
Yeah, they
hell is
didn't
going on?
decide they didn't decide what was medical information yet
Yeah,
or
yeah,
misinformation. Yeah.
yeah. And then
Wow.
that's it. And then I started, and then my first video was of my favorite sci-fi show on Netflix at the time. It was called Dark. So because I introduced it to a bunch of people, and then I was like, everybody was like, why don't you do a review on it or something? So I
Ooh.
did, and that was my first video that I put on my channel, was the review of that. And now it seems like so long ago, and it was only like 2 years ago that this happened. It's like
Wow.
a lifetime ago. The other night, somebody commented on the very first video, so it popped up in my mentions, and it was like, oh my God, Nina Infinity's first video. So I went and rewatched it, and I was like, oh my God, like it was so bad. I was like, oh my God, it's
Really? Only
so
2
bad.
years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I actually set up YouTube, I think right after college, so it might have been, like, '06, and, like, did nothing. I was so intimidated by YouTube. I remember I would talk to, like, comedy, not even mentors, but, like, sort of like bookers, people that had, like, been in the industry, and, like, one guy said, "Oh, you should do a vlog," and I remember, like, he just was like, "You should be on camera," and, like, I remember hearing that, but, like,
Mm.
not knowing where to start, and I felt like nobody wants to hear what I have to say. I'm not an expert really on anything. Like, I just make dick jokes, like, I didn't know what to do or how to get started, and, like, same as you, it really, I guess, took the pandemic for me to be like, and I also was telling myself, like, every comedian has a podcast. The last thing this world needs is another comedian podcast, and they all kind of follow the same format. They do it once
Mhm.
a week, and they mostly just talk to other comedians, which can seem to an outside listener, like very inside baseball, and it's so niche. Just like you talk to somebody who's also done improv or just someone who's like
Mhm.
also, just any line of work really.
Mhm. Mhm.
If I were to like talk to somebody just about what it was like to be a receptionist for years or like an executive assistant, like it would alienate a lot of people. So I was just like, I don't want to do the same kind of podcast that every other comedian does. So during the lockdowns, it was May of 2020, I committed to like 4 days a week.
Wow.
And I was like, let me just see if I can commit to this, rain or shine,
And you did
whatever.
it.
And I did it. And you just the only way you learn is by doing it, is by going through it. And I
Mhm.
have I probably should listen back to one of my early episodes because I just grabbed another comedian friend of mine, like Gino Visconti. I was like, let's just
Let's do it.
let's just
Yeah.
do it.
It was funny for me too because my husband told me to start a YouTube channel like years before that. Like he was like, all these people are doing it. You can do it. You'd be great at it. And I was like, I don't have anything to talk about. I'm not like good at anything. I don't know. Like I have like zero self-confidence, Like I was like, what would I talk about? Nobody would want to listen to me. And then when this whole thing happened, I was like, hey, I can do it too. Like all these people are doing it. Maybe I can do it. So I did it. And then later on, as the pandemic was going on and we were all super depressed. I mean, I was just hanging on by a thread. Like I was, this thread, like the YouTube thread was helping me hang on to my
Mm.
sanity. Excuse me. And I decided at the time, because I was kind of thinking like, well, what else should I do? Like I got to come up with some other content. And I decided I'm going to do a good news show because I really could use some good news. Like I was like, I need some good in
So
my life.
the opposite of CNN. Yeah.
Yeah, the opposite of everything, and the opposite of myself, the opposite of everything I talked about with John every night for 8, 9 hours. I was like, I need something to just not be negative.
So John was your first, like, I guess, like, streaming partner, or
Mhm,
you would do
mhm.
every episode with him?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much, like, cause and we would hang out on his channel. It was, like, his channel exclusive. I didn't really have a channel, so we would just sit there and talk, on his channel the whole time,
You were on your
and at
training
that
wheels.
time, he was still doing, like, not that he's not doing real content now, but he was doing the longer format videos, and, like, his channel was totally different. He had, like, 60,000 subscribers at the time. Now he's like, I think at 350, and he's
Oh.
switched completely to the short format, like just memeing videos of like, he's just memeing Biden. So like he just turned to political memeing after the elections. Because and it was really funny because I told him, I was like, because he was worried a little bit about what would happen after the election, like after Trump left. And I was like, Biden is president now. This is funny. Like, there's gonna be you're not gonna be short of content with this guy in the office. And I was right because now he's a big timer and he's making those great content. But we still hang out once a month at least, and it's fun. It's fun stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So he was like like your YouTube mentor, sort
Yeah,
of.
he was my sensei. I called him my sensei for a long time. YouTube sensei. John
Wow.
Talks, everybody subscribe if you haven't already.
John Talks, subscribe to Nina's YouTube Sensei. I just don't know.
Mhm.
I've never done maybe the longest stream I've ever done because I'm so used to, like, I guess the stand-up world is 90 minutes is the ideal amount of a show time.
Mhm.
So I would start to really like tap out after 2. But with Simcast, I think it
Mhm.
is having people like you involved. Like it really helps me to like go longer, especially when you like the ones that I would end at like 2 hours or 3 hours. People go, "Oh, you're ending already?" And you're like, "Oh, fucking,
Mhm.
does anyone care?" Like, really? Don't.
Yes, people just wanna hear you talk at that point. It's pretty cool.
It's like, "Are
Like, I
people
think
falling
Bird
asleep?"
Up just,
Yeah.
super chatted us and said, "Nina and Chrissy 9-hour stream, let's go," for
Bird
2
up to you.
bucks. Yeah,
Me and Chrissy, 9
and
hour stream, let's go. Wow.
that's because I did that 9-hour stream with Nick that one night, so now everyone's expecting that to happen all the
Oh my
time.
god. When Bird
Uh
Up, speaking of early YouTuber videos, Critical Drinker actually sounds sober in his early stuff.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds
Oh,
funny.
wow. Imagine he's just, like, very with it sounding. "What's up, Dreams Lunatic? Thanks for the super sticker. What's up, NVIDIA? Both of you look amazing tonight.
Oh, thank
NVIDIA's
you.
gonna help me set up my Rumble. Like, it is set up, but you need a stream key and a stream link, and you have to input that every single time that you wanna
I
go live.
I have to figure all that stuff out too. So once you figure it out, can you mentor me and be
Yes.
my Rumble sensei?
Yeah, I'll be your Rumble mama.
Okay.
Kyle Kluge times. I met Kyle this past weekend at the Geeks and Gamers meetup, in Orlando. Holy shit, was that ever one of the most impressive things I've been to. It was my first Geeks and Gamers FNT meetup. I was in awe, like, that big props and respect to all those guys. This event was huge. It was, in this hotel, I can't remember the name offhand right now, but it was in Orlando, and they rented out this huge room.
I saw it. It was really cool looking. I was like, "Oh my god." It was way like way bigger than their last venue that they had in Vegas.
Can't remember the name of it. It's bothering me. Somebody in the chat tell me the name of it. Didn't charge anybody for a ticket. I'm like, "How are you how are you doing this?" You know, like, there's
Yeah.
no sponsor, there's no so maybe I don't know, maybe they'll do it in the future.
It's
Jeremy's like, "I
because
just
they were
paid for it."
selling all the
Yeah.
Go Tit shirts from
Yes, the
X-Ray Girl.
Rosen Plaza. Thank you, the Rosen Plaza. Yes,
Um,
from the Go Did X-Ray Girl shirts.
that's it. That funded the entire
And they had
event.
2 shifts. They had one at 11, one at 2. I was so fucking hungover
Oh
'cause
my
the meetup
god.
was Sunday, our 48-hour stream started Thursday night. I've learned so much from doing all this, by the way. Like, so we had our show at the Orlando Improv, our stand-up show.
Mhm.
And then we had basically a very quick after party drink thing at the Point, which is near actually where the Geeks and Gamers had their meetup, but the comedy club is in this same area called the Point. Quick after drink, and then we drove to the content house to start the 48-hour live stream. Next time, I will not have the show starting at kind of right before the stream. I will start the stream and then have the show maybe the next night because
Mhm.
it was just too much to get
See,
together.
I'm almost glad I haven't shown up to any of these because then you can like, bring out the kinks and then the one that
Mhm.
I do show up to is gonna be like the most epic one ever because,
I agree.
all the kinks are gone and it's gonna be just freaking epicness, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we started it, and I felt like, "All right, I can't get drunk the first night because the first content house we did, I got drunk, I did a cartwheel, hit my head on a coffee table, I was like, "This time's gonna be different." So I
Oh, no.
stayed up the first night. I really made sure I put in a lot of hours that first overnight shift.
You did. I was watching. I was very impressed because the first time I was watching too, and the first time you weren't there, and Venti was there, and she was a trooper. But this time you were
Yeah.
there, and then the second, I think a second or third night, I don't remember which night it was, but it was one of the nights because I'm a night owl, so like I'll just be in chats at like 2, 3 o'clock in the
Lurking.
morning.
You're a quiet lurker.
Yeah, it was maybe 3:30
Woo!
in the morning, and I saw you in the pool, and you were a little mermaid, and I was dying. I was dying, Chrissy. Like, I was just first of all, I was singing along with you. I mean, you couldn't hear me, but I was singing along because Ariel's my favorite character, and I'm like,
I think mine
"You
too.
you're literally Ariel. You have red hair, and you're a swimmer, and, like, your
Aw.
points, like, when you were, like, pointing your feet, and, like, I was like, 'Oh my god, she's got the points!' Like, it was the best. I freaking loved that
It's
whole
so
scenario.
easy to be God, it's like maybe it's a physical comedy thing, but, like, I think it's easy to, like, make fun in a pool or, like, be goofy or just do what would look funny in that moment. Sometimes it's a nice break, you're using a different set of muscles than, like, trying to be funny in a conversation.
Mhm.
So now I know for next time, like, if there's a pool involved, it needs to be a bit better lit. We got a lot of, like, negative comments, but people forget, like, this was not a professionally done thing, like,
You got
Compound Media
negative comments?
Compound Media let us stream to their YouTube only because I got a strike on the
Yeah,
Monday night before leading into
yeah.
it, and I we were having a me and Frank were having a fucking nervous breakdown, like, we were
Oh.
all, like, almost in tears, like, "Well, I guess this is
Aw.
totally fucked." Other than Compound letting us use their YouTube, they did nothing else for us. Like, this was 100% me, Frank, Fealty, who's one of my guys who helps with my, YouTube stuff, and then, like, our friends, like Marshall, Lindsay, and then, like, another tech guy from Compound Drew. Like, it was really, like, honestly 5 and that's it, and we're not
Mhm.
professional anything. It was literally just, like, equipment that I have been buying up over the last year and squirreling away, and so it was, like, definitely not a professionally done thing. We're all
Chrissy,
just figuring it out,
it
so
was better than last time, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was better than last, like, I could see the improvement because I watched the first time and I watched this time, and you're definitely improving. So the next one is gonna be even better.
Compound
Uh,
Chat was super salty because and I could
why?
tell because it's like it's a different group of people, and, Compound Media's chat, and of course, like, I hate to suck up me and Nina's, episode with all this content house shenanigans, but, like, whatever, we'll just have to go 9 hours and cover everything.
Yeah, it's
But I
fine.
wanted to focus on you and not about
I'm
me.
here. I'm here with
Um
you. That's fine.
So Compound Media's fans are fans from really, like, the Opie and Anthony era,
Okay.
which they were, like, very famous, I think, early aughts, like, I think maybe n late '90s, early aughts into 2010s. So they're very much fans of some of, like, really the legendary comics of that time, which was, like, Patrice O'Neal, Jim Norton, Rich Voss, Bobby Kelly, obviously, you know, Kumia and, Opie, who is less liked at this point, and then so Kumia was sort of, like, famously canceled, over something really dumb. I can't even, like, really remember it. I think he just was, like he was, like, taking pictures in Times Square, and then some random chick thought that he was taking pictures of her, and then, like, you know, it was obviously, like, a race-related thing, and then he tweeted, like, "Ah, these
Oh,
people,"
no.
right? It was, like, not I don't know, it's something that was overblown. So, anyway, he got fired from his job at SiriusXM, started Compound Media, I think, like, 6 years ago, and I joined up with them, like, 2018, started doing and then pitched my show, Wet Spot, in 2019. Anyway, most of the fans are fans from that era, so to them, I am, like, this new
Oh, you're the new
female
girl.
comic, like, a lot of them
Mm,
don't, like, respect, appreciate, care for female comics, or they just, like, straight up don't like me as a person, which is totally fine, I don't need everyone to like me, but I knew
mhm.
going into this, okay, this is the compound chat, it's not my regular YouTube chat like you guys here, so I of course, I expected, like, a lot more negativity, but I wasn't expecting, were all of the Rumble viewers, there were consistently more Rumble viewers than YouTube viewers.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty cool, and I know, of course, like, the compound chat, they wanted to see Anthony, they wanted to see Gino, like, they hadn't heard of Ariadna Jacob, they didn't know who Gigi Dior was, they didn't know who Kristen Carney like, these are all my friends, really, and people that
Mhm,
I work with, so it really would've made more sense to do it on my channel where everyone
mhm.
knows. Everyone that's was at that house has either been on an episode of something I've done or has been, like, a friend for years, but basically, I think everyone that was there has at least done CMP or Simpcast or Wet Spot.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
these Compound Media fans are a lot of them hadn't seen any of these people. So they're going, "Oh, what the fuck?"
They're
You know,
like, "This chick's taking over Compound Media. We're gonna
kind of,
ruin
kind of.
everything."
There are a lot of comments like that, and I understand they wanna reminisce, they miss a certain time where there was a lot of comedians that they liked, I guess, all in one place. Um I don't know.
I mean,
It's hard. I just try to be patient with
I got a
him,
little
but
bit of that sometimes too, Chrissy, like, you know, on the real BBC, especially, like, yeah, especially at the beginning, not so much anymore, but at the beginning when I first started, like, people were like, "Who is this girl?" Like, you know, "She shouldn't be here." Like, all this, you know, not very kind comments, and you're just like, "Ah, whatever." Like, I'm just, you know, I was invited, so I'm not gonna not say, n you know, I'm not gonna
yeah,
not be here because some people don't like it. It's just like, whatever. You gotta move on and do what you do, and, yeah, if they check out your content, they'll figure you out. But it was funny because Brittany actually posted a video about that, like, she said something like, when people tell me, like, "What are you about? Like, what do you even have to offer?" And she's like, "Well, like, why don't you check out my channel and then you'll know what I have to offer." And it's
yeah,
just like, you know, you kinda get that, when you're new to somewhere, and then you kinda have to either win the hearts or, you know, some people are just gonna hate you no matter what you do, so.
yeah, and that's a good lesson is, people are going to hate you no matter what.
Mhm.
Torgo the White, "Hey, when can we expect 2 locals to start getting content. That's another thing I have to look at. Thank you, Torgo. Dark Side with Love. Nina, I enjoyed your Halloween episode and costume. Better
you.
Faye than Netflix. Who are we getting on Simcast this week? Hail FNT. Hail Simcast! I'll tell
Yay.
you who's going to come on. Obviously, Nina, you're welcome anytime that you're available.
Aw.
Victoria from Who Are These Podcasts? Angie GGR. I don't know if there's other people booked, but that's just who's on my phone calendar.
I have to say, what was that person's name? The Dark Side
With Love.
with Love. I think my favorite comments are from my cosplay that I did. It's better than the Netflix version. Like every time I see that comment, it just brightens my day because that was my entire purpose for doing Faye's Halloween costume because I love Faye and I thought that the Netflix version was so bad and I actually made a petition to keep it canceled. That was one of my first article
Did you
mentions was
tweet about this costume? I want to bring this costume up so people.
Oh, it's on Instagram. You can look
Okay.
it up there. It's also on my Twitter, but the Twitter thing is too far to scroll down, so Instagram's probably easier. But yeah, I'm also planning on doing a cosplay calendar now. I was going to launch it tonight, but things happened and girls can't figure out technology, whatever. But it's gonna happen soon, probably tomorrow or the next day. One of these days it's going to get launched.
Ooh,
And
yes, girl. Look at you.
yeah, that's me.
Okay, this is me not being able to log into my own Instagram account. I found input my password.
Okay, hold
again.
on. I'll go to mine. Hold on. I'll go to mine
Okay.
so you can bring it up.
Sorry, I'm not.
No
not-
worries. This is
not
what I
advanced
mean. This is what I mean by girls can't figure out technology.
I mean, I could have, but I just like
You're
now
just-
everyone has to watch me type in my own password, and then I go, well, I have to change it now.
it's all good.
NVIDIA, chat down bad tonight. No more skipping simcasts, Chrissy. Oh, right, because I didn't do one on Sunday because my YouTube was down. Number one, number two, I was fucking exhausted. Yes.
So this
And
one
who
is
the costume of? This is Space Cowboy.
this is Faye. That's her right there. And actually I kind of recreated that image right behind me for this one. I don't know if you can see that.
So you're wearing like shorts and tights here.
Yeah, it's this same costume here.
Ooh, yes, girl. Yes, with the thigh highs.
And that's the same one. And then this is like a full body
My
one.
God.
But Instagram makes
Whew,
sorry.
just hot. That's
Instagram
cute.
makes you cut them off so you can't see the full
I hate
legs.
that. And sometimes you have to push a button and it does make the picture bigger, but like you can
But
only
it still
put certain-
cuts it off. And I'm like, dude, no.
I don't like that. And then if you
Oh.
post it by itself, sometimes you can get more of the full body shot.
Mhm. So that's why it's like these and then yeah, so that's it. That's the
Wow, I
calendar.
can't wait. Well, as soon as it's up and ready, I'll blast it out.
Yay, yeah, and I'll come on Simpcast and promote it.
Yeah.
And yeah, there she is. That's her fee.
You can never have too many deposits in the spank bank.
you know how it goes. You know how it
Mhm.
goes.
Oh, this is from NVIDIA, and this is like hits the nail on the head from this weekend. Biggest problem was people thinking it was Kumi's production due to the YouTube stuff, and we're associating it with him, right, and Compound instead of with me and Frank. Yep, that's it.
Makes complete sense.
So people going, why the fuck is Chrissy here? It's like, I made this happen.
I know it's so unfortunate that you had to get your strike on like the day before that this happened. Like,
comically sad. It was
I
like
know. It's like what the
all you
fuck?
can do is laugh, and that's like the moments where that happens. Like I was surprisingly pretty calm. Like Frank was more freaked out and like just because he was really worried. Like, oh, we're gonna lose our fucking sponsor. It can't because if it can't happen on YouTube, like that was the whole deal. And he was really freaking out. And I was like, you know what? It's happening. And I was like, I have a feeling this is not going to be remedied inside of a week. I was like, okay, just like I felt really calm in that moment. Like, all right, well, what's next? Like, what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is like we lose the sponsor. I pay for this all myself. I'll just chalk it up to a very expensive friend vacation, birthday trip or something. Like I was already being like, can you handle the worst case scenario? Great. Well, then anything that moves back from that is a win.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good kind of life lesson. You know, God will friggin' put you on your ass and humble you every once in a while just to make
Yeah.
sure
It
you're
will
still in there.
happen. It will
Yeah.
happen. But, you took it on in stride, and I'm so happy that you had the opportunity to go on Compound Media and still provide that content. Because I was sad because I was gonna miss it and like not be there. And then I was like, how am I not gonna watch this? Like, I need to
Oh,
watch Content House. And then you were like, it's gonna be on Compound Media, and I was like, yes,
yeah.
thank God.
Fealty's in the chat right now. He is like seriously might be the VIP, definitely a VIP, if not the VIP of Content House. And he'll be on. We're gonna do a recap stream pretty soon. He's working really hard on uploading, downloading. Here's where I sound like my mom, where she says everything that has to do with the internet is I have to download your email. He's uploading and downloading everything because with StreamYard, I'm not sure how it works, but like basically we did this whole 48-hour thing and it's not all saved. So he's got to basically excavate it from,
Mm.
I don't know, YouTube or somewhere.
Well, I got a couple comments from people in the chat about Content House to me about you guys. There was the comments were, one was that Brittany has a new boyfriend, and I was like, "What? Like Brittany has a new beau?" And they were like, "Yeah, they're the talk of the house." And I was like, "I don't know what's going on." So I hit her up, and I got the deets from her. I'm not that I'm gonna share, so not, but I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I didn't even know that that was a thing. So that's a thing. And then Alex came on last night, and then he was telling me that he was a little overwhelmed with the Content House because,
Really?
yeah,
Alex Stein?
yeah, he was saying that he was just like really overwhelmed, and
Wow.
he thought that it was he was it wasn't what he expected. Like he was like he was like a little bit overwhelmed with everything. But he was like, I was also not feeling well, so I don't know if I was
Yeah.
like the best person. But like in general, like it was like way too much. I didn't expect like it to be
So
like
many
that.
people or
Mhm.
like for it to be so 24/7 or
Yeah, like for it
more
to be
like
like
24/2.
24/7. Yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, like just a lot, you know? And I'm like, I kinda get that because it's like, I mean, I can't imagine being live, like, because after a point, you're like, when you're done, then you're done. You're like, "Okay, I'm done
Yes.
now." Like
Well, that's why we didn't want cameras in every room. We didn't want it to be like a real world situation. I really wanted a confessional room, and I think
Mhm,
we got so bogged down with just the responsibilities of the house and the airport shuttling and the picking up and everyone's different schedules and
mhm,
everyone coming in at different times. So that took up a lot of attention instead of thinking like, all right, let's make a schedule. Let's put in shifts. Let's figure out whose shows are going to be slotted in to this
mhm.
48-hour stream. Who's going to be like captain of groceries? Who's going to be like captain of wiping down counters?
Yeah, captain of, like, you gotta clean as you go too, like, that's one of the things. It's like, you can't just leave
That's
messes
why I wanted to
around.
make sure there were a lot of women there. That's something I didn't really I was like, "Everyone, bring your wife, bring your girlfriend. We're gonna need people to cook and clean."
That makes complete
But
sense.
that is meaning like, that's a huge contribution. It's like, you don't have to be on camera the whole time, but if there were people there, like, my freaking sister-in-law showed up and was, like, cleaning, like, I remember we went to bed, the kitchen was a fucking disaster, I woke up, it was like, "Ah," I was like, "Oh my god,"
Oh,
I almost
I
cried.
love that. I love that. I have this friend,
Yeah.
and he's actually like a clean freak. Like he's just so clean. So whenever he comes over, he like washes my dishes and stuff, and I'm
Wow.
like,
You know what it
that's
reminds me of?
fine.
It's like when my mom would come visit me at college or whatever, and she would, like, clean up my room because it would be a disaster. She would, like, wipe things down, take me grocery shopping, and then you feel like you start fresh again.
Mhm.
It's that feeling when somebody, like, comes in and, like, cleans for you. Like, of course I can do it, but it's like a
Oh,
love
girl,
language.
now I have a cleaning lady, and I'm
Oh,
never going
wow.
back. Yeah, because I live in Mexico, so, it's it doesn't cost that much, and, it's well worth it because 'cause they're very good at what they do, and, my cleaning lady's super nice, super trustable. I was one of those people who had trust issues, so I never thought I could actually trust anyone to be in my house to clean it, but now that I have this person, I don't know if I'm ever going back. Like, I don't know if I can
Now
ever
you
go back
leave your
again.
sex toys on the bed, just being like, "Yep, just clean these 3, thank you."
It's like flying first class. It's like you should never do it
Wow, I
unless you
couldn't
think you can, like, ever do it again, because
handle
once
it.
you fly first class, you're like, "I'm never going back to coach." Like, it's just
I
never happening.
flew first class one time only by accident because a flight attendant upgraded me. Like, I don't know, I just got really lucky that one time. Maybe I looked frazzled, but I can go back because I don't wanna spend the money to do first class every time.
I understand. I flew first class once to Europe, and it was fully intentional.
Yeah,
Um,
Mexico is made
hey,
literally made
true
of cleaning
wedge.
ladies.
I'm not being racist or anything. It's just it's part of the culture here. There's a lot of cleaning ladies. You have to like, and if you find a good one, people will fight over a good cleaning ladies here. So it's
Yeah.
like it's a big thing. And yeah, so like I went first class, and it was really funny, Chrissy, because like they treat you so differently. And it was like, so we showed up late, and it was really funny because we were like, we bought our first class tickets because we could only afford like one way first class tickets. So we did it from Europe back to Canada. So because we wanted like an extra, like, because it's like we were going to Europe, and our Europe trip is over. So we were like, since it's over, we want to, like, be pampered one last time before we return home. And so we took the first class back. And when we showed up to the airport, we were at France, like in France, in Paris, and we were late. Like we were gonna miss the freaking plane. And I still remember to this day, like we were running up at the gate to the lady to like check in or whatever, and she had this look on her face, like she's like, I fucking hate you because you're late, and like, oh, these fuckers, like, just like this
Flight attendant
really,
lady had that
yeah.
look?
She wasn't a flight attendant lady. She was like the check-in lady, the one that was like the check-in
Oh,
people.
yeah, the check-in people are very arrogant, and
Yeah.
especially, like, some sneakily, sometimes the airline will stop receiving people 15 minutes before,
Oh
and
my
some
god.
won't.
Well, this was years ago before COVID or anything like that. So they were fine. But so this lady's like giving us this dirty ass look because we were like the last people, and we're just running to catch the fucking plane. And then she sees that we have first class tickets, and her face goes from like to like, welcome, and
Wow.
just like this like change, like this like insane change where she's like,
Isn't that
would you like
crazy?
help? Would you like assistance to the gate? We can
"Would you like
walk
a
you there.
hand job?
Yeah,
Would you like a
like
Sprite?"
it was insane, and I'm like, we're good," and we're like, "What? Right this way, please," and she's just like,
"Oh,
I'm like,
lady."
"Dude, the class
Wow.
difference though, man," like, and then, like, so we're walking by, and, like, I see, like, all the people in the lineup trying to, like, get to the security gate, and we had, like, this purple carpet walk, and I'm just like, I felt
They
like
rolled out a
waving to the
carpet for you, they're
people.
like, "Here, right
They
this way."
did. It was weird, but that was the
Wow.
one and only time I've ever taken first class, and it was wild. It was a wild experience that I highly recommend that you should do once in your life, which you've done.
I did it once, I did not, my only regret is that I should have drank more. I should have really been, like, hand over fist. What was kind of amazing is that I had a drink in my hand before we took off, and
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh my god, have I died?"
This was
Yeah.
like a honeymoon situation for us, so it wasn't like it's not something I do, like, all the time. People in the chat are thinking like, "I wish I had Nina money." I like, this is not a routine kind of thing. It was, like, one time 15 years ago. So just FYI. Like
Good for you, Nina.
like, yeah, it's like, I'm not like freaking, PewDiePie money over here. Like, this is, yeah, that's not what's going on at all. That's part of the reason I live in Mexico because
I have
it's
friends that
cheaper here
fly
to live.
first class all the time, like, Anthony Cumia and his girlfriend are so used to first class, and,
Mhm.
I wanted them to have a good time, and I'm, like, kind of taking people's, like, drink recommendations and, like, what people like, "Oh, vodka, rum," and then Missy was like, "I want this particular tequila," and we get to the store and it's $65 a bottle, and
Ooh.
I was like, "Well."
Don Julio, was it
Cumia's
Don Julio?
it's
Because that
Cumia's
show's
girlfriend,
amazing.
it was Casamigos, and I was like, "Well, we want her to have a good time." I was like, "I fine, I will splurge this because I love Missy. She's a great girl."
Oh,
But I was just like, "You know what? Okay." we really tried to, like, accommodate people, you know, like, Venti's allergic to corn,
Mhm.
Marshall and Lindsay were vegetarians, like, me and Frank going into this, we're like, "We're keto," but obviously, like, we went off the rails with that because it's
Can
so
you
hard.
be keto and still drink alcohol?
Yes, if you drink, like, a light beer, which has low carbs, or, like, a vodka soda has low carbs, as do the hard seltzers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I getcha. I getcha.
So we're gonna get back on it. Yeah, Frank came back with the sniffles, a little sick. Not COVID. He got
Oh,
tested.
no.
Just like I think he just ran himself down and like was very tough and didn't say anything. And then when we got back, it just like hit him. And I was like,
That
"Whoa."
that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
like, Gary was feeling a little down too, like, he calls it the flu con, so and it makes sense because you know, or con flu or whatever, like, because when you go to, like, big giant places full of people, you're about to pick up something. It's just gonna happen.
Mhm.
It's the
It was
the
so
mingling.
amazing to meet the fans though. It's like a real fucking people. You forget there's
There's
like not every
faces behind the
'cause
avatars.
you do get used to kind of like not like showbiz people per se, but like comedians and like sometimes actors, sometimes although like the only actor that was there was Vic Mignogna, who was cool as fuck, and I was so happy to meet him. I met him at the Geeks and Gamers house, and then he ended up going to with us to karaoke both nights. Like we
Nice.
became like BFFs. Um, but like generally, I think when dealing sometimes like with comedians, it's this sense of like sometimes you feel like you're only as good as the last thing you've given somebody, or if you don't include somebody, then they shade you, or it's like, but when you go to these meetups and you just meet like, you're just meeting like fucking people who appreciate what you do and they are not trying to like get something from you. It's just like, hey, you made me laugh. Hey, I loved your Frost impression. Or hey, like you got me through a tough time with health, or somebody in my family was dying, or like, and it's really, really great to hear because sometimes you're just like, "I'm just talking into a black camera hole.
Mhm.
Who the fuck knows? These are just numbers on a screen. These are just words on a screen. Like, who knows? Aren't we living in a simulation? Like, what is life? Who is even seeing anything? What
I
the fuck is
totally
the point
feel
of it all?"
you, and that's
And
one
then
of
you're
the
like,
reasons I really wanna
"Ah."
come to one of these things because it's like, you know, you get to meet these people the people behind the avatars, and you get to, you know, actually talk to them, and I'm all about the human connection, you know, like, human connection is so important, and that's why I was so anti-lockdown because I believe that that's one of the things that, you know, they were trying to stop people from doing is to have human connection. Because when you have human connection, you know, uh you're less easily controllable, let's just say that.
And that was the
Hopefully.
first thing they shut down.
Mhm.
Well, no church, no bars, no cabaret, no comedy shows, no community building,
Yeah,
no
no
talking, no
nothing.
sharing ideas. We want to separated and feeling alone and
Mhm.
confused. You could drink, but you can just drink yourself silly by yourself,
Well,
basically.
your next challenge is to have an international content house here in Mexico, in
Ooh.
Cancun, and then we can have
I
some fun.
wish I want to get so successful to a point where I can just fly people out anywhere like it's nothing and be like, "Fuck yeah," and just have a crazy professional setup and everything
Hell
looks
yeah,
good.
just set that goal for yourself. You're like, "I'm
Yeah,
gonna be this successful," and then just, you know, just go.
set a
Just do it.
set a budget and try to,
Mhm.
like, put it on my vision board. Happy Plague Doctor, where do I pitch a movie? That's a really good question.
Ooh.
I wish I knew.
What kind of movie? Like a comedy
Yeah,
movie?
a porn?
Porn?
You could do that yourself, like, you could film it yourself
Oh
and
my god.
then tease that out, like
Yeah, you can put that on Pornhub.
yeah. Vampire Slayer for 10. Content House was great. The karaoke was probably the best part for me. Vic was amazing, which was shocking. Nina, great Faye cosplay.
Aw, thank you.
Things vampire. It was so fun. I think people it may have looked not I don't know. I think everyone who's there had a great time. It was probably more fun to be there than it was to watch it because it could have been a little bit more professionally done. I could have had more expensive cameras, I guess, and more lights and more
You
everything.
could always have more of everything. I thought it was really good. I mean, it was entertaining to me, like, I was watching, it was entertaining. That's all
Okay.
you can ask for, like, just be entertained for a couple of hours.
Yeah. It
It's like,
is
"Oh, I
kind of
don't have to
cool.
watch fucking She-Hulk, I can watch
It's a
Content House."
it's a neat goal to have, like, It's just like when you start, you're like, how are we gonna make this 48 hours? Like, how are we
Mhm.
gonna do it? And it seems so daunting. And then when you're halfway through, you're like, oh my God, we still have to do this a whole nother day. But then it's like it's all over so fast. And before we knew it, we were back on the plane going home and we're like, oh my God, it's like we almost forgot we were in Florida. Like we didn't really the place where we stayed had like a community center with like a lazy river and like some other shit. We didn't even get to that. Like I didn't go to any of the parks. I just, kind of just stayed
You
there.
didn't even go to the parks? Like, you didn't go to Halloween Horror
No,
Nights?
no, I wanted to make
Oh.
sure that like everything was going okay. It was such a
But
small.
that would have been a great content for Content House, like,
It would
going
have
to Halloween Horror Nights could
a
have
couple
been an
people
activity.
did go, like Anthony and Stancil and Mead and Missy went to Epcot and they went to that Star Wars like thing, the new
Mhm.
Star Wars, I guess, land that they built and streamed in a little from there. So we could do more of that, but I felt like I couldn't abandon the post.
Aw, that's so
So,
sweet of you. Have you ever been to Halloween Horror Nights before?
no, I've been to,
You
like,
have to go
Universal.
at some point. Definitely. It's so fun, it's so worth it, especially if you like Halloween stuff. If you like Halloween stuff, you should go. If not,
We definitely wanted to we will do an OnlyFans version called the Consent House, where it's
oh,
just sex.
the content house. Okay. Yeah, by the way, people were asking about my like the pictures on the calendar, if that's going to be an OnlyFans thing. The answer to that is no. I don't have an OnlyFans, and I won't have an OnlyFans. So there you go. Answered your questions about OnlyFans.
I know. I get flattered every time people ask if I have an OnlyFans. Like, please keep asking me to make one. It makes me feel good.
Now they're never going to stop.
Yeah. NVIDIA, grats on stealing Vic from the G&G house. Yeah, everyone was saying this. It was not intentionally trying to steal Vic. He really just sort of gravitated towards me. Because I
Aw.
think as soon as I met him, I was like, "Hi, I heard," and then I heard, like, "Hey, I heard you've been canceled." I've been canceled too, and I just like unleashed all my cancel stories,
You
and
guys hit it off. That's so
I
sweet.
just like to make people feel comfortable
I
right
just
away.
noticed, like, okay, do you see your like background?
It's
And then my
flickering.
chair is glowing. It looks like your
Ooh,
background's going into my chair, which is cool.
yes, it's going into your chair. Lila bullied me into taking a selfie with her. Yep, she will do that.
Oh,
She's pretty hardcore. You would love Lila.
I would love Lila.
I mean, you've been on the show with her. Paul Blunt. That's right, Nina. Don't judge a book by its avatar. Ugh.
Ah.
Look at Paul. Paul's is like,
No, no.
what's up, Porch? Porch was at the show. Good to see you, Porch. Nina, I hope these awful COVID restrictions are abolished so you can come to the States. It would be great to meet such a positive person. Congrats again, Chrissy, on everything, all you accomplished. Oh, Porch gave me the coolest fucking gift I think I've ever gotten. A really cool bottle of wine. I mean, NVIDIA gave us a bunch of really great wine too. But Porch also gave me like a Zippo lighter with
Ooh.
like a cute like redhead on it and then like in my name, like in script on the back. It was
Oh,
really neat.
that's so
I don't know where
nice.
it is. It's probably in my luggage still. I haven't really unpacked yet.
That's so
So
nice.
nice. Like family heirloom style.
That's so cool.
Crash Mondo for 5. Lauren Southern has been able to enter the US, Nina. Maybe ask her how she got around the stupid mandate.
Yeah. She's got her ways.
I think people have their ways,
Mhm.
but sometimes the ways are not I don't know.
It's not the best for
Not the
everybody.
best.
Mhm.
Let's be more vague. Unpacking made me feel sad. Yeah, that's why I don't want to unpack because then it's really over.
Oh, then it's over. Like, I feel like that too. Like, whenever you come back from like a really nice vacation and you're like, I don't really want to unpack because that means it's really over.
Yeah.
And then you look at your luggage like a week later and you're like, fuck, I really got to unpack.
Like, man, these panties are getting crusty. I gotta get in there and wash them.
You know it. You know it.
So, oh my God, that's crazy. So it's interesting to hear about your kind of YouTube origin story. And you're like me, like just a kind of a newbie into
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah. I'm like, I came up from the chats. I
The
always say
chats.
the chat.
From the bowels of the chat.
Yeah, that's me. I'm like, that's why whenever somebody's in the chat and they're like, I want to start a YouTube channel, and I'm like, do it, because that's what I did. I was a chat person, and now here I am.
It's funny, it's like the opposite. Like YouTubers will be like, "Yeah, start it up." And it's the opposite when it comes to stand up. Like if you meet a stand up, you're like, "Hey, I want to start stand up. What should I do?" A stand up like 9 times out of 10 will be like, "Don't do it.
Don't
Just
do it.
don't." Because like, it
It's
often
challenging.
it often will take 10 years before you're kind of anywhere unless you're very lucky or very talented
Mm.
or both. But you have to be okay with the idea that you're probably not gonna make any headway until you're 10 years in.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with YouTube in terms of like depending like fame level or whatever. It's like, yeah, like you could start a YouTube, anybody can start a YouTube channel, but like don't expect to become like PewDiePie or something. Like, don't expect to be the next, shoe on head or so. I don't whoever. Like it's just you have to
Seen
understand.
infinity.
Well, you have to understand that it takes time and effort and work. Like it's not like it's something that you just do and then it's every like, and there's some luck involved too, I think, like, especially depending on the content you make, whether YouTube likes the content you make and decides to like, let it go viral or
Hmm.
whatever. Like, for example, with me, like in my channel, my first 100K video turned out to be some random, uh, like stream I did about Reacher, and now it's reached like 170K, and like none of my other
Wow.
reviews have done it. And it's the only reason it did it is because one day I was like Googling like Reacher onto like on Google, and my video came up as the recommended on the first page of Google. And
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, like that was the first time I've ever seen that. And that's the only reason that it's gotten that much views is because it went kind of like viral because the YouTube algorithm picked it up. But
Did you look
otherwise,
naked on that stream?
I don't know what I was wearing on that
Hmm.
stream.
Okay.
Not something very revealing though.
Something
I
just that made you think about focus on what you were saying.
don't I don't know.
Crash Mondo. Okay, what did I miss? That went over my head. Oh, and we're talking about being vague about getting into the US.
Oh,
Despite the mandates.
yeah.
Jesus Davilas, thank you for the super sticker. Texas Mofo, you gals gonna pop into the Jack show later? Ooh, I mean,
I don't know.
we're here.
Yeah. Whose channel
Klukin.
is it on tonight? Is it on like
I
because
don't
it's on Anna.
know.
It was on Anna's last week, so
I don't
it's
know.
Cecil's?
Klukin, I'm still on vacation, so I haven't had the it's over feeling yet. Is the comedy show part of the content house now, or was it a one-off? It was a one-off. I think the comedy show was scheduled first, and then we decided to do the house around it. It really was perfect because it's like once the Geeks and Gamers announced that they were doing their meetup, then I was like, oh, we should do a show. Like we
Mhm.
should try to, I should try to like do some other activities. Like people are gonna be down there. Why not?
I actually like that. That's one of the reasons that I want to meet you specifically is because I want to come to one of your shows. Like
Okay.
because I love stand-up comedy. I've always been a huge fan of stand-up comedy because I just I like the classics. But I think stand-up comedy is really fun. So it would be really cool just to come see you like in one of
Um,
your shows because I know you'll never do a show in Mexico.
I would. We were in Mexico right before the pandemic, like February
But
of
you wouldn't do
early
a show
February of
here.
2020. I would.
You would? That'd be
Yeah.
amazing. Oh my God. Okay.
I
I
haven't
will keep
done
my hopes up.
stand up like out of the country, but I would. Like
That
I
that was
would.
that'd be fucking awesome.
I really should put more of my stand up online. There's like other than the album, like I'm not a TikToker though. I'm not like a
Neither am
clip.
I.
I should be. I really should be.
We should be a lot of things, Chrissy, but who's got
Right?
the fucking time and energy anymore? It's like, "Oh my God, I gotta do my locals. I gotta do like, Rumble, then what is this TikTok thing now? I gotta do Instagram." It's just like it's so much. There's so much to keep
It is
up
a
with.
lot. I'm like, I still have to do my taxes from
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Oh, and then
Like,
I gotta go grocery shopping and like,
yeah.
feed my cat. Like, I got things to do.
Ugh, it's a lot. But it's I need to just get better at time management and writing lists and like getting up early and whatnot.
Agreed with me too.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a female thing.
I wonder. I actually was reading something today that procrastination does not actually have to do with laziness. It has to do with anxiety.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, like you have feelings about the task and you're trying to avoid the feelings. It's not that you don't want to work per se. It's like they're just
Ooh, I
some,
believe that.
something about the task.
It's daunting and you're like dreading it for some reason. And then it's just like, yeah, I get that because I procrastinated a lot of things.
Or
I'm
it's
like,
like
oh.
a lot of steps or it's out of your comfort zone. It's like I don't know. I don't wanna make it sound like I just avoid work and I'm lazy. It's just I don't know. I think things like intimidate me that shouldn't.
We're the same. We're like the same person.
We are the same Malchai roads. What's up, y'all? First time
Hey.
being here. Seeing you guys on F&D. Hi,
Hi.
welcome. This is it. This is the
Hi.
show.
She's on FNT more than me. I've only been on there once. I'm on the real BBC though. Same,
Yeah,
same-ish.
you get that BBC. Ghost Crusaders
The
with Super
BBC.
Sticker. How did the BBC come about?
Well, I got to know Az and we just like really hit it off. And one time he invited me on the show and I went on there and then he was like, I would like you to be a permanent member. And I was like,
Just like that.
yeah. And I was like, hell yeah. Cause I fucking love Az and I love Gary and Mahler.
So it was initially Az's show?
Well, no, the BBC came about because Gary and Az were hanging out. Like Gary and Az are hanging out, and it's bagging, boarding, and comics. So literally, they were bagging and boarding comics, and they were talking about,
Bagging
just
and
pop
boarding.
culture. Yeah, like putting comic books in bags so that they're
Leggies?
kept nice. Kind of like, how like
Little
this
plastic bags.
yeah, like the little like see how this
Yeah.
nice Eric
Oh, yeah.
July comic
Like
book is in
a
yeah.
comic condom.
Yeah, it's a comic condom and it's got the little board on the back so it keeps straight and everything. So obviously,
Oh,
Gary,
bagging and boarding.
yeah, so Gary, who's a comic book, genius or whatever, he has a lot of them. So he was like, we're just gonna start bagging and boarding comics and talk about pop culture. And then they added Mahler later to their show because Mahler just wanted to hang out with them, and Mahler's awesome. And then somehow they added me, and that's when I
Wow.
was like, oh my god! But
That
I
must
was a
have felt
huge fan.
really
I was always
good.
watching it, so I was always in the chats.
Started from the
Um,
bottom, now you're here.
yeah,
How
yeah.
did that feel when they asked you to be part of it?
Amazing. Like, just I was on top of the world. Uh, when Az asked me, I was just like, "Ah," like, I kinda almost started crying. I told
Oh.
my husband, I was like, "It's like Az asked me to be on the real BBC." I
And
was
I
like
said, "Yes, and I'm leaving you."
and he was like, "I'm so proud of you." I think we, like, celebrated that night because we went out and had dinner,
Oh.
and
Oh
it
my
was a celebration.
god.
It was a big deal. It was a
You
big
have to
deal.
celebrate. You have to celebrate the things.
Yeah. It was a big deal for me because I really love those guys, and they kinda, like, helped me get my start. I remember the first time Gary gave me a shout out on Friday Night Tights, and I
Wow.
lost my mind. I was like,
You're like, "I had to change my underpants."
yeah, yeah, I did. And I also remember the first time he came on my channel, and I was, like, fangirling, like, so hard, and he
Wow.
was like, at before the show, he was like I was just like, "Ah, I just I gotta get this out, like, I'm so excited you're here."
Aw.
And he's like, "Why?" Like, I'm just a person." I'm like, "But you're Gary." And, like, I was just, like, freaking out,
Oh,
and then
wow.
he's like, "We're cool, like, it's all good."
He's very chill.
And it was funny because John was there, because it was an Infinite Talk episode that we invited him on, and John, like, literally didn't say a word for, like, the 4 hours that we sat there. It was just me and Gary talking, and John would just, like, say something, like, once in a while. And like, after the show, he was like, "Yeah, you really you really needed that 4 hours with Gary." I was like, "Yeah, a lot of
Oh,
questions."
Gary's the best. I felt similarly when they asked me to be on FNT. I was, like, so honored, like, blown away. I think because I had just had Az on the channel, and I'm asking him, like, how did he get to be part of FND? Like, I'm also just so
Mhm.
interested in all of their lives and all of their stories and how they all came together, and like you too, and like Anna, really like everybody that I work with now, I all has such an interesting story, especially if it involves an element of like being like canceled or cast off from their group or their um same thing with Carrie Smith. You know,
Oh
everyone
my god,
thought
she is so sweet.
the nicest. It's really the people who've been through the most shit, I think, end up being the nicest people.
And honestly, Chrissy, like I can't thank Gary and them enough for introducing them to me to you. Like, because you are so fucking awesome. Like I'm so glad that I met you through all of this. That's what I'm talking about. Like is this community or fellowship or whatever you want to call it. Like the fact that it brought us all together. Like I always make fun because I'm like, I hate Disney Star Wars and I hate Rianne Johnson for ruining Star Wars, but in a way, same thing with JJ Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy and all those. In a way, if they hadn't done what they did, none of us would have
Right?
all like come together. So it's kind of it's a really weird thing because I love you guys and I love this community and everything that it stands for. So I'm just really thankful to be part of it.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost like people have the opportunity to thrive when things are difficult. Like I think somebody maybe it was like E-Rock at Compound Media was saying like, actually when the opposite side is in charge, it gives creators or entertainers on the other side the chance to like thrive because
Mhm.
like for example like now with like Biden similarly like he mentioned like when Rush Limbaugh became really popular. I think was it during the time that the Clint it was like during the Clinton era, so that's when he really developed a huge fan base. And like not like I want Biden or the left to like win again at the
Mhm.
next presidential election, but like that has been like maybe one of the few positives from the last 2 years. It's like, okay, you can join together. Like there are many voices of reason. You don't feel so alone. You can
Mhm.
make there is this huge like, all right, if all these mainstream comics and SNL and all these comedians with like agents and managers that are famous and doing well, if they're too afraid to say the honest or the blunt thing,
Mhm.
then I will. It's almost like, what do I have to lose? Like I didn't have these things to begin with, so why
I
not?
dude, I totally feel you, and I gotta say again, it's like it's one of those things with COVID and like the whole lockdown situation or whatever. It became to a point where I was like, okay, as long as like if you're anti-lockdown or like if you're anti like whatever is going on, you're my elk. Like we need to stick together on this one. Like I don't care if you're like, I don't care if you like Disney Star Wars. If you
Mhm.
don't like the lockdowns, we're on the same team. You know what I mean? Like that to me is the most important thing out of like everything that's happened so far. Like, in my lifetime on planet Earth is like, they really wanted to stop life. Like they wanted to stop existing. And I was like, yeah, that's not gonna fly for me. Like that's just not gonna fly for me. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why I'm so glad I found you because when I like one of the reasons I really like gravitated towards you is because I understood your takes about COVID actually was I was like, this chick is based. Like I was like, this chick,
And
yeah, like we need to get along because like we're on the same page, girl. Like I was like, and we need more people to talk the way that you were talking, to talk the way like so many and Carrie and
wow.
Gothics and all these other people that were like standing up to what's going on. That was the most important thing. And it still is, honestly. Like if you I mean, I don't I'm sure you heard of that stupid article that was going around,
Oh, the amnesty?
the amnesty.
Let's pull it up.
I mean, I'm not gonna say too much on YouTube, obviously, but like, I like dude, no, no, no amnesty, no amnesty for these weirdos, like these weirdo cultists. I'm not down with anything that happened,
Isn't
and
that
and
funny that that
th-
is
they haven't even apologized. It's like I'm
I
not
think
giving
it's
you
really
amnesty for
I think
not even apologizing.
this is actually a huge positive that this is even in the public discourse right now. I wasn't
Mhm,
expecting this for another year, because this is the beginning of self-awareness. This is like the beginning of, "Oh, we fucked up."
mm,
And how can we make it not our fault? Like, who are we gonna blame this on?
mhm,
It's like the followers, it's like there's so many levels to this shit, right? There's like
mhm,
everyday people all the way up to like Fauci and the top level people, but,
Yep.
like, it's the beginning level people starting to go, "Oh, like, yeah.
That's how it starts though, is
Who
that
are we
little
gonna
like
point
one
to?"
drop,
Yeah,
you know? That's
and
and
then it
it's
takes
good.
all these people in between, and then we get to the people at the top.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tim Robbins, like right before this dropped, I actually read an article from Tim Robbins, the actor slash comedian. And he's Susan Sarandon's husband. And he wrote this piece about how like basically that he was wrong with his takes on COVID, and he understood that a lot of things were wrong, like that he was wrong about and people were wrong about. And then like literally a few days later this piece dropped, and I was like, this is really interesting that people are starting to really kind of be like, oh, maybe we made some mistakes, and that's the start of it. Because at the end of the day, like, they want to bring this shit back, Chrissy. They want to bring this shit back,
Mm.
and I think that one of the reasons that these articles are out there is because they're kind of just trying to feel like where people are at. It's kind of like
Yeah.
feelers.
Oh, yep, it's a temperature check, and then you have all of
Mhm.
us coming back, like, Daily Wire, even if you're not with, like, a major network going like, "Fuck no!"
Mhm. Yeah, like
Yeah, and a
mm.
lot of people that have had to be quiet this whole time, and I don't begrudge anybody for getting the jib jab. I
Me either.
they put us in a horrible, impossible situation,
Mhm.
threatened our livelihoods. I can 100% understand there is a timeline for me where if I had had kids or if I wasn't doing comedy or if YouTube wasn't even a thing for me, I definitely understand that there is a universe where I would have been pressured to get it, where I would have felt
You
like,
know.
"Damn, I will not be able to pay to feed my kids," which is what they wanted you to feel.
Yep. They wanted to clamp down hard, and I mean, like, I was against it, and, like, my mom was against it, but she got it because she was alone, and she wanted to see me, and she was like, "I don't know when I'll ever see you again." So she risked it, and she got it because she was like, I'm not gonna not see you. Like, there's no way. That's not happening. 'Cause I was like, I've like, I'm good with my decision to not
Mhm.
be in Canada, so, like, I'm not getting it, but, like, if you really feel like you have to, like, you do you, and I mean, she got the J&J because we talked about it, we didn't want to do the mRNA thing, and thankfully, she was able to get the
I
J&J.
love that people are calling it the black vaccine, by the way. Have you heard that?
No, I hadn't heard that. That's interesting.
I don't know if it's because it's Johnson or, like, it's just one and done.
Oh
It's
my
something
god, that's
funny.
hilarious. I
It's
didn't
something like maybe
that.
that's just something I heard from Aaron Berg, but who's a comedian, but,
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, she got it, and like, and she was really upset. Like when she got it, she was really upset, and she told me about like, she told me about the experience, and she was like saying like when she went to get it, she like the guy that like was giving her the jab, like asked her like, do you give consent to this? And she's like, no. And he goes, what do you mean no? And she's like, well, you're making me get it. Like the government's making me get it. I'm not giving consent. And he's like, well, you kind of have to give consent so I can give you the shot. Like, and she's just like, okay, but I'm not really giving consent. Like I'm giving consent, but I'm not really because I'm being forced to give consent, And he's just
somebody
like,
in, a comment I think it was a comment or on one of the platforms, like, said that their wife had to take a test and, 'cause I worked in corporate America for many, many years, literally up until this past December, and
mhm,
they give you these tests where it's like, diversity, inclusion, sexual harassment training. You have to take all these, like, tests at your computer, and one was like,
mhm.
regarding the jab, and it was like, "Did you take it voluntarily or because you had to?" And then the
Mm.
woman pressed, "'Cause I had to," and it literally gave her, "Wrong answer, you have to go back and pick the other one to proceed." And I was like, "That
Oh.
is some shit right there."
That's insane. Yeah, like, and see, and these are the things that, like, when we're talking about like COVID amnesty or whatever you want, pandemic amnesty or whatever, like, I'm not gonna begrudge people like my mom that felt like they had to get a shot to like, go see their family member, or like they had to pay the fucking bills, like they had to like, they had to feed their children, so they had to, keep their job. Like, I'm not gonna go and, hate on those people, but the policymakers. I'm going to begrudge the policymakers. I'm going to begrudge Trudeau, like he ruined Canada. I'm not going to stand here and be like, "Oh yeah, like okay, like yeah, amnesty for Trudeau." Like fuck that shit. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I get
No,
a little
he's
bit
in on it.
passionate.
He is so in on it.
Yeah.
You can't trust that dude. He
No.
is a weasel. He is a snake. There's just you
Mhm.
can tell by hearing somebody talk and looking at somebody, you're like, "Ugh."
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah,
when
so
did you leave Canada for Mexico? It was, like, right in the midst of all this.
no, no, no. I actually left way before. So I was well living in Mexico for a few years before this started. So I left in I think 2016, 2015 is when I left. So
Wow.
cuz I remember like I was basically starting to live here the year Donald Trump became president. And I remember that cuz I was here and I was like I was laughing because there was an expat community here, and a lot of like some of the expats wanted Trump to win, but they were like the Republican ones, and a lot of the expats were like Hillary supporters, and they were like like I'm with her and like blah blah blah, and I was just kind of like in the middle at the time because I didn't like Donald Trump, and I sure as hell didn't like Hillary, so I was very very anti Clinton's, but more like on the fence for Trump because I didn't really know what Trump could like. Trump was just always a very entertaining character to me. Like I was like, I knew this guy from The Fucking Apprentice. Like I mean, like
Mhm.
this is like yeah, and now he's running for president. Like how is this real? Like, I was just like, I can't believe this is our real world. But
Yeah.
that's what happened. And then when I was like, oh my god, I wonder what's going to happen because at the time we were in Mexico and he was talking about the wall and all that kind of stuff. So Mexicans didn't really like Trump because he was talking about the wall and like not like he wasn't putting Mexico in the best light and everything like that. But people here were making fun of him a lot because he kept saying like we're gonna make Mexico pay for the wall, and everybody was kind of like
Okay,
laughing
that's
at that.
me.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, fucking right. Like good luck with that, bud. But it was just kind of like so at the time it was really weird, and then Trump became president, and as time went by, I was like, dude, this guy's actually a pretty freaking good president. Like he was doing really well in certain things for America. Like it was like,
Mm.
employment was at an all-time high, like inflation wasn't really a thing. Like the economy was fucking
Yeah.
fantastic. Like just everything was on the up and up. Like everything was really good. His I didn't like certain things he did like with in terms of his foreign
The
policies and
pussy
stuff like that.
grabbing? Oh,
No, I don't really give a shit about the pussy grabbing because I was like, "That's Trump." Like, that's
yeah.
Trump. Like, that's what I mean, like, I knew him from The Apprentice. I didn't really give a shit that he was
Some
pussy
women want
grabbing
their
or anything.
pussies grabbed. That's what no one's talking about.
Well, that was the thing too, is that, like, the way that that whole pussy grabbing thing came out was that, like, like, he didn't even do it, like, it was something he said to someone and, like, literally, like, a locker room was like
Trying to
locker room
sound
talk.
cool, it seemed like to me. It's just like
Yeah.
something that dudes say to each other to sound like fun and cool and
Yeah, it was literally
like they
like
get a lot of
locker room
chicks,
talk. I was
which
like,
I'm sure
"Nope."
he does, but yeah.
Yeah,
What
nobody got grabbed by the puss. So it was like, I don't know why these people
like,
it's just like the whole thing with bleach, dude. Like, you know how like everyone was like, "Oh,
right.
he said fucking everyone should
Oh,
drink bleach." I was like,
mainstream
"Bro,
media is like,
not what he
foaming at
said."
the mouth to misunderstand this guy, jumping at every chance to
I
intentionally
know.
misunderstand him.
It was like I remember, like, the moment that he said it too, because he was like because he was doing pandemic updates, like, every day, and he, like, looked at Fauci, and he looked at Dr. Berg or whatever her name was, I forget her name, but she was like, they were standing there, and they were talking about, like, the IV thing, and,
Oh,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah. I forget
and
what it's called, but, like,
I know
drink got
exactly what
it,
it's called, but I'm not even saying
drink
the
some care.
words.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
one of them starts with an H and one of them starts with an I. So anyways, they were
Oh,
talking
oh.
about this thing, these 2
Oh, the
medicines that could
eye thing. I thought you were talking about the IV, like, when people got the
well, that too,
treatment
but
thing.
also, like,
The
the
I word.
IVE,
Yeah.
whatever. And, like, he was saying, he's like, "I don't know about these things." Like, this is, like, almost verbatim what he said. He's like, "I don't know about these things. Maybe we should look into them. Maybe we should look into whatever works. If bleach works, maybe we should look into that. I don't give a fuck. Just look into it
Right,
and tell me
right.
what works." That's literally what he said. He was just saying, like, I don't care what it wor
He
what
was
is the thing.
speaking like a real person.
Yeah, like, he's like, "I don't care what it is, give me a solution. You're the doctors, give me a solution. Go look into it." Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, chat. Yes, Luna. Yes.
Yes.
And so it's just like, and then the left is like, oh, he said people should go drink bleach, and I'm like, bro, that's not what he said. Like that is not what he said.
Mhm.
And then it became this whole thing.
It's so
Just
interesting
ugh.
your experience of basically, like, yeah, you're experiencing a Trump presidency from Mexico, and it's
Mhm,
actually, like, it's interesting to hear because you would think, like, yes, you're geographically close, but, like,
mhm.
does Mexico care? Are they,
Mexico cared a lot until they didn't. Like, because it was like they cared at the beginning because they were really scared that something was gonna happen between, the wall and everything like that. But then when nothing happened, everybody was like, "Who fucking cares?" Like,
Alright,
it's
back
just
to
it's
Coronas,
another
yeah.
day. Yeah. Just like, whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's been a really interesting life in Mexico, especially compared to Canada and what Canada went through, in during the lockdowns and everything like that. Because at the time, Mexico was basically free. Like we went through only like maybe a week of lockdown. And it wasn't even that long because we live in I live in a tourist city. So, and in Mexico, it's not like Canada. It's not like a socialist system where you can get, unemployment, or like when you can get whatever. Like people need to live here, and people need to work. People need to live. Like you need money to survive, and people like, dude, when everything shut down, everyone was out in the streets selling stuff anyway. Like, there would be like fruit vendors, and there would be like, people selling chicken, people selling eggs, like on the streets. Like, like there's all sorts of stuff and food and everything like that here, because this is, after all, a bit of a third world country. So they need to live. And if they, it's just, they're not going to listen to their government for them to be like, hey, you can't go to work. They're going to be like, go fuck
Mm,
yourself, like, because people need to do that, and the government knows that. So there's no way that, like, you can keep the people here locked down. There's just no way. People are just not going to listen. But
wow,
they
that's
but
cool.
they almost did, though, because again, I'm in the tourist part of town, so, or tourist part of the country, so there is more, listening to the government a little bit more than other places that are like, poorer places. But generally speaking, though, they took it really well, except for the masks. That was one thing that was really bizarre, Chrissy, was that they really took to the mask thing. Like it was just recently,
Hmm.
maybe like a week, like a month, it's been that people finally have taken off their masks.
I think
Um,
'cause it was an easy thing to
it took a
enforce.
while.
You can't force somebody, right? You're
It
not gonna hold somebody down and, like,
it w
I
it
mean,
it
that you
was
do through fear and intimidation, but you can force somebody to put a fucking mask on.
You know what's so crazy here too? I think it was part of the money making thing too, because do you remember how at the very beginning of the pandemic they were like, there's a shortage of
Yes.
masks. Like,
Yeah,
we
they
keep.
encouraged us not to buy them.
Yes. So yeah, at first they told us that. So like here in Mexico, people just started making makeshift masks and selling them because that's what they do here. They're like fucking hustlers. So the second they find out that there's like, something that you can make money off of, they'll be on it. So
Mhm.
literally when everybody else was like, "Oh, we don't have any masks." All the Mexicans were starting to sell masks on the street, like makeshift fucking masks that they were like, cloth masks or whatever they
Wow.
would make to make up money. And so like all of a sudden it was like everywhere. And then there would be like, because there's like these little stands that are kind of like, like the cartel lets them do what they want because like they're poor people, so they have to make their living or whatever, but they do different things, and then they kind of give a little bit of a cut to cartel or whatever. So they would be making like foods or whatever on like a usual basis, but then all of a sudden everyone switched to selling masks, and it was just like, and then they had these
Wow.
brand masks, like they had like Pikachu on it, and like they
Aw.
make it all pretty and shit, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, these fuckers are making like a fucking industry out of these masks. I was like really
I was
pissed off.
so hesitant to buy masks. I just was like, I feel like buying a mask is like giving in to all the bullshit. Like, I think I would like in the very beginning when I had to, before I was like, when it was early and it really felt like it was going to be 2 weeks. It's like, okay, I guess I
Mm.
on the flights, right? You wear them, but then it's like was like, I just felt like buying them was like giving in. And then I got the ones off Amazon that are like completely like mesh see-through. It's what all of the girls in Vegas wear, the same exact ones. They're
Right.
sparkly and you can see
You can see
your
yourself.
mouth moving underneath them. And I got caught on flights so many times. Like I'm gonna keep saying stewardess because that's what they are.
They
Would just like
are.
look at me like squint and be like, ma'am, you have to wear a different mask. I can see your mouth moving. I want to be like, well, don't look at it. Like, I'd be like, what about now?
Oh my god.
And I'd be
Girl,
like, I just like drinking a straw through it. Like, what do you mean?
I was the same way, like, cause I refused to buy masks, and I didn't. So like for me, I again, cause Mexico is fucking weird. I went to this one restaurant once where this chick was like, she had this like weird shield thing on her face that
Ugh,
like it
the
was like a
weird
mask.
shields.
It was like a mask, but it was like a plastic shield that just covered like this like a portion of her mouth, and it was plastic. And I was like, I want that. And so I wore that for the entire pandemic. So I never had a piece of cloth. Like, so I always
Okay.
had like air, like there was airflow always. I was like, I'm not fucking putting this shit on. Cause I put it on the first week, like before I knew about this fucking plastic cover thing, because like you had to, like wherever we went, like they were like you cannot come in without the mask on or whatever. But once
Ugh.
I found that thing, I was like, I'm not going anywhere that won't accept me wearing this, and they did. Everywhere I went accepted it, except for American companies like Costco. And one time
Ooh.
I got into it with a Costco woman because I was like going in and they had like guards and like they would like they have like fucking carts set up, so it's like literally like herding people into the Costco or whatever. And so this like fucking Costco woman at the front door, she's like checking for masks or whatever, and I'm like she sees me and she's like, no, you got to put a mask on. And for, like, I just pretend I don't even understand fucking Spanish anyway. And I'm like, no, 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 it's fine. It's fine. It's
El
fine.
Masco. And you're like,
Yeah, I'm like,
"See?"
no, 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 it's SBN, SBN. I'm just like going, I just like, keep walking. And she starts yelling at me and telling the security guard, like, just like, you get there, like, get her, like, she's not allowed in the store. And I just keep walking with my cart, like, I'm just like ignoring her. And the guy like
Wow.
looks at me and he looks at her and he looks at me and he's just like, and then like he just like let me go. And I
That's
was like,
great.
yeah, come get me, bro. Like, as I was like walking by.
Wow.
I was like, "Yeah, come get me. I'm not wearing a fucking mask or whatever." And he's just like, "Whatever," and he just let me go. But
Uh,
that was my Karen moment of the pandemic. It was pretty funny.
I remember it felt good to like start like testing out, like I forget when. I have to look back when I first started like it was early on though. Relatively early on I first started like not wearing them because I was like I think it might have been after like a month. I was like, all right, I think I'm done with this. Like, it just started testing it, and then the shit you would get, and then I realized like, what's the worst case scenario? Like when I get on the railroad, to go into the city. Okay, $50 fine. That's the worst case scenario. Am I okay getting a $50 fine today? Yes, I am. Okay, and then I
Mhm,
just took it day by day, and then with the subway in New York City, I would see signs like, there's no signs that I'm going to be fined. Okay, and then I just wouldn't wear it, and then nothing ever happened, no cop, no one, nothing, just I mean,
mm,
dirty looks and comments from, like, other passengers, what the fuck are they
sure.
gonna do? So, that helped being like, "What is the worst case scenario? This store is not gonna let me in, this restaurant's not gonna let me in? Okay,
Mhm,
well, great, we always had somewhere else we could go." I remember there were, like, a couple of diners we stopped going to that wouldn't let us in, like, literally wouldn't let us walk in the door and walk 10 feet to sit at a booth, and we're like, "Alright, I guess this diner's off the list
that
now."
happened to us too, and I was like, "Okay, bye. We'll go somewhere else that will."
Once you
Whatever.
made the decision to, like, the worst case scenario is livable, then you can go on instead of, like,
Mhm,
staying in the fear, like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be able to eat anywhere," and I really was like, "I am okay with not going into another restaurant ever again in New York City. I will go in once a week, I will do my radio podcast show, I
mhm,
will go to this one deli where I know they don't give a fuck, and I can go in, I can get food and water,
mhm,
I know that I can go into Dunkin' Donuts, they don't give a fuck, so I'm
mhm.
good." I was like, "I don't need to."
God bless Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, dog. Dunkin' Donuts
Fuck.
really, for real, got me
That's
through it.
awesome. That's
Yeah, we would
awesome.
we would do me and Frank would do our Pokemon Go walks, to Dunkin' just, like, for sanity early
That's
on.
amazing. Yeah, like I got Karen once at a Walmart here too because I was like sneaky about it because like they were like, you gotta put your mask, like, and I was like, fine. So like whipped out like the mask from my purse, but then when I went into the store, I took it off. So like and the lady from the door fucking followed me and like was like stalking me to make sure that I kept it on. And the second I didn't, she like showed up and was like, you need to get out. And I was like, fine, fine, I'm leaving anyways, but it was funny. She, like, followed me or
Yeah, it was the people who were, like, empowered to be cunts, like, the
Yes!
power trips of people. It's like, I would never again, like, we're on the same page in that I would never shame someone who was forced into getting it because they felt like they had to just
Mhm.
make money for their family. It's the people who are, like, the hall monitors, the
Yes.
champions for it, like, n refuse to understand somebody else's point of view or life or the reasons
Mhm.
why they can't or won't get it and, like, would not accept, uh
Mhm.
another version of reality.
And that's
That
the
was good.
That's the interesting part about it, like, in Mexico too, because in Mexico is such a like, it's such a macho culture here. So, a lot of the women here all of a sudden felt, like, super empowered because they would tell men to put
Wow.
on their mask, and they would have to. Like, all of a sudden,
That
there's, like, all these
it's mostly fucking women too, honestly,
Mhm.
really mostly. There were a few cunty men on the subway, but really mostly cunty women who were
Yep.
like, "This is the first time in my life I feel power."
Yup. And you know what's so crazy, Chrissy? It's like it's kind of like the same thing. It's the same kind of thing that I think about with like in Iran and with the whole hijab situation. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on over there right now, but there's like this kind of like mini revolution happening because of all this drama with the hijab. But I was like thinking about it and I was thinking about how like in Iran one of the reasons the hijab has stayed as long as it has is because of women, like actual powerful women in Iran who want to keep this going because that is literally their power. Like they
Mm.
exercise power over other people's and they don't want
Their
to let that
their
go.
literal job is hijabs.
Yes.
It's their
Like to
hijab.
yeah, to be a hijab police and like, they're literally called the virtue police. So,
Wow.
that's their job. Like so they like
Hijab.
to do this kind of thing. So it's the same thing. It's the same mentality as like when you have that power and you don't want to let it go. So that's why it's taken as long as it has in Iran as well.
I mean,
Because
look at why abortion is always still on the ballot. Why racism is always still on the ballot because people's jobs are invested in keeping these issues going when they could have been like, they kind of are resolved. If you need you know what I mean? Like, everyone's equal. Everyone can do what they want. There's nothing stopping you from starting your own business, and, like, if you're truly determined and you can't say, "Oh, poverty, oh, being poor." No. So then what about all the examples of poor people who have risen up and gone to school or start their own
mm,
business or
mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, so
Yep.
sorry, like, there's so many examples of kids who weren't in the right school or whatever, and they become professional athletes. So it's like there's too many examples. You can't tell me it's not possible. So it's like equality. We've wrapped it up. We figured it out. Like gays, we
Mhm.
were cool with gays in the 90s. Like
Yeah.
it's a wrap, you know?
It
Uh
was a wrap for a long time, and
yeah.
then all of a sudden it's, like, not anymore, and I'm like, "Wait, what happened? I thought we were all cool." Like, everybody same thing with, like, Lizzo when she comes out and says, like, "Oh my god, like, there's so many unprivileged people here," and I'm like, "What the fuck? Like, lady, you
Oh my
you live
god.
on privilege.
You
Like, what are you
literally
talking
ate
about?"
enough to feed a family of 5
Yeah,
today. Don't tell us about who's privileged.
I'm like, "Bruh, what?" Or, like, when you see, like, Oprah doing, like, interviews with Meghan Markle about, like, how,
Ugh.
she's
How
so
to fuck your way to the royal family.
yeah,
Megan,
like,
tell us
"Oh,"
about your journey.
and she's all like, "Oh my god, they treated me so badly," and it's just like, "Bitch, like, shut the fuck up." Like, there's
If she
people
wasn't half
starving.
black, we wouldn't even have freaking heard about her. That's literally her whole personality is being
Yeah.
sort of ethnic and, like, sort of victimized over it,
Oh my
whatever.
god. Apparently, like, Harry's coming out with, like, a tell-all book, and I'm like,
Oh my god.
"God, what the fuck?" It's just so stupid. All these
His
people
book
are
is
so
called
dumb.
Forever Prince. Always a prince, never a king. Andrew Thomas, hey hot Chrissy and beautiful Nina. Will you return as Frost to fight Anna over Henry Cavill, Chrissy? Oh, I don't
Ooh.
wanna fight Anna. She just
Did you
did a
hear
really good
about Frost's like
went
weird
after him today.
tweets?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh my god.
I think she's
Is it
she's
weird
trying
that
to
every
stay
time
relevant. I think she's probably like, "Ah, fuck, what do I have to
Yeah.
do?"
Is it weird that every time Frost says anything, I'm like, "Yay, Chrissy's gonna have
Dude, that's
content."
this next thing I was gonna read from CJ. "Hail, Chrissy, what's it like seeing your Frost video every time she says something dumb?" Every time
Yeah,
she tweets something, sure enough, Gary's in there posting
fucking
the video
Gary.
again, and I'm like, "Oh my god, how has this woman not blocked me yet?" Like,
I
it
don't
doesn't make
know.
mathematical sense. Like, I'm just like,
I don't
she
know.
either is like, I don't know.
She's like she knows and she's fine. Like she like and I got to respect that. I respect the fact that she hasn't blocked any of us. Like cuz she really hasn't and we
I'm
basically told her off.
shocked. I don't know, but I mean, I've never been on like, have I been on stream being like, "She sucks"? Maybe.
Well, dude, freaking Anna went off on her today in her video. She was like, "That fucking cunt."
Oh
She's like,
god, I'm halfway through it, and then I got distracted. I'm gonna watch the other half.
"Dude."
Yeah, maybe she wants to scissor me. Frost, if you're listening.
Mm.
The answer is maybe. No, the answer is no.
Dude, like, have you ever considered inviting her, like, on one of like, either
I
one of these
think
shows
I
or, like,
reached
Simcast
out
or something?
during the time where a few people were reaching out, and I think the courting was, like, this close to getting her. I
Mhm.
think I also reached out. We reached out to her people
But
and
now
didn't
she
hear
doesn't have
anything.
people. Now you should reach out to her
She's
'cause
people-less now.
Mhm, 'cause she doesn't have G4 anymore, so you could just reach out to her and be like, "Yo, you
Back
wanna come
down
on my
here with the
show?"
peons with all of us.
Yeah.
The
I know when
plebe.
the quartering almost got her, he was gonna have me on that interview with her. He was like, "You wanna come on?" And
Wow.
I was like, "Yes." So,
You're
if he
so
had,
close.
I would have talked to her as well.
You're so close,
I
Nina.
know.
Ooh, from Carnal, thanks for the 10. I find it sickening that the experts who impose lockdowns are the same experts who expect to get pandemic amnesty while Nina is not able to get into the US due to their peddled coof mandates. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Carnell. You get it. You get it. Fist bump.
So
Fist
many people are operating off of like what feels like 2-year-old info
Mhm.
still.
Yep.
Chewy for 5. H-Town is in the house. Hope you are doing well, Chrissy, and special shout outs to Storm and Annie from Bottled Blonde. Ooh, what's up,
Ooh,
guys? Should I go
howdy.
back to being a blonde? Should I mix it up?
Ooh, I don't know. I kinda love your red hair. I feel like red just doesn't get enough love right now, so my
Okay.
vote is red still for, like, at least for a little bit more.
You
Maybe
could
for the
go
summer,
to
like,
a
maybe for the
strawberry.
summer
Yeah.
so that summer times, like, sunshine and
Light.
blondness.
Lightness. Dan
Yeah.
Halen for 5. The whole locker room thing was that you could do whatever you wanted to women if you were rich, famous, and powerful. Then Weinstein proved it true. Yeah, true.
That's true too.
It's so true. I hate when people pretend that, like, true things aren't true. It's
But
like, come on.
also though, like, the Weinstein thing, the thing about it is that it's two-sided. Because it's not like there wasn't female agents taking advantage of male actors as well, and it's still
Mhm.
okay. It's still I mean, look at Olivia Wilde, like, like, that's just, like, the latest thing that's just come out in the industry, but, like, I mean, there's fucking sleazy people, like, of every sex, I don't there's only 2. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's
Ooh,
God, now I'm gonna get you canceled. Yeah,
canceled.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, like, assholes come in every fucking shape and size and gender,
True.
whatever. It's just the way they are.
It is so true. Cardinal backward 10. Remember Flatten the Curve? Oh, remember
Mhm.
that? Those were
Yeah,
the days.
I
Remember when
do.
we were like excited to have 2 weeks off? How about 12 days to slow the spread? Remember quarantine, essential workers, social distancing, 6 feet apart, no mask,
Mhm.
reopen, lockdown, Pepperidge Farm remembers.
I fucking remember this shit.
Remember, and we kept getting, like, in trouble because some of us were fucking it up, and now we gotta start all over again. Because
Bro, I
some well,
remember oh my god, I remember when the fucking BC, British Columbia health official came out and said people need to use glory holes instead of having sex right now for fucking safe sex in the pandemic. I was
what?
like,
Who?
"Go fuck yourself."
Wait, are
I
you talking about the old prime minister?
No, the health minister for British Columbia.
Oh my God.
I think was she the Canadian health minister? Hold on.
Glory
Glory
holes.
holes.
Dun, 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 dun. Glory holes.
Let me put. Try glory holes for safer sex during coronavirus. BC
Hmm.
CDC says. Here it
Wow.
is.
Yeah, you could cough all you want if you're using a glory hole, but what if you cough on your dick and then put it in the glory hole?
Here it
I'm gonna
is.
share your screen. Wow. This was not that this was July of 2020, and this was
Mhm.
a serious headline.
Yeah, this is from Global News. This is like, this is not satire.
Wow,
This is very, very real news. Try glory holes
that's
because
funny.
that's what you need to
Where does I've
do.
never even seen a glory hole, but maybe I'm just
Really?
not going to the right rest stops.
I mean, I've never seen one too, but I figured you've seen one because you live in New York and you like take the subway. I mean,
And I
I
was,
figured that
hanging out in the gay scene for many years when I had my
really,
Stonewall show.
I still know glory hole
Yeah, I
experience.
never well, we didn't need glory holes at the Stonewall, and you just, like, dudes would just go into the same bathroom together or hallway or stairwell or, like, whatever.
Yeah, so these people that are, they're like, use glory holes for fucking safe COVID sex. And I'm like, give us COVID amnesty, man. We didn't know. Like, shut the fuck
Only
up.
holes. Go to my only holes. Oh my god. What's up,
Oh,
Crash? It was really awesome to hang out with Crash. He came to the show. There was a table of the mods at the Improv Orlando show. What do they call it themselves? The Marians? The Marian Nation. I
aw,
love it.
that's awesome.
The mess gave rise to adult hall monitors.
Hmm.
100% Crash.
Yep.
Ginger Adventure for 5. Cross the border amnesty. Go into Alabama. There's no masks, and you can understand Jeremy's accent better than Spanish.
That's hilarious.
That's true. Papa Towns for 5. I forgot to say hi to Frank. Hey, buddy. He's in the other room.
Hi, Frank.
I think he got sick from Content
Oh.
House, but not COVID because he tested today. He's
I
just
still haven't
ran
taken a
himself
COVID
down.
test like ever.
Don't. It's fucking gay.
Yeah, I still haven't done it. I mean, I've gotten sick, so it's possible that I've gotten COVID, but I never took the
Yeah.
test, so I don't know.
Hi, Nate and Chrissy. I'm a big fan of you both. Harry's memoir is titled The Heir and the Spare. Ha! Is it really? That's funny. It's kind of funny.
Oh, is it really? That's fucked.
I don't know. I'd rather be the spare than the heir. It's a lot of pressure off.
It's a lot of that's a lot of work to be the heir.
Yeah, because when you're the spare, guess what? You can get married to the fucking briefcase girl from Deal or No Deal.
Mhm. It's true.
Do you know how much shit they gave Kate Middleton for like briefly wearing a tube top at one point in her teenage years?
I remember something like that.
John Snowden, make glory holes great again. Great
Oh
again.
god.
They tried to. Yeah, they had people. Oh my gosh, what was I watching? Maybe it was a Steel Toe morning show. And they played a clip of someone going to visit their grandmother in the nursing home, and they were behind like a window, and like it is probably the saddest thing I've seen in a really long time.
Oh my
The
god.
grandma, this woman had to be like in her 80s or 90s, and she like either didn't understand why the people weren't coming in, or she just knew and was just so sad. She kept like reaching for them. She was like hands up against the
Oh.
glass, and like she was like you could just see her like desperate for a hug, and like
Oh.
just oh, it was the saddest thing I've
That's
ever seen.
devastating.
It's like they played it because again everyone's talking about this like pandemic
I
amnesty
think I
idea.
saw that. I think Libs of TikTok reposted that one.
Oh my god,
Because Libs
yeah,
of TikTok made a giant thread. It's called like the mega thread of this like COVID
of
amnesty
wrongdoings,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, and she's just like posted receipts after receipts after receipts after
Good,
receipts. And I
good.
was like,
We
fuck
should
yeah.
not stop posting receipts, like, I'm not even kidding, like, I hope we're posting receipts well into 2025, like, I don't
Mhm.
you know what, like, make them sick of it, like, are you kidding me? How long ago was slavery and people can't shut up about that shit?
Oh my
So it's
god, I know.
like, yeah, let's do this literally for the next 200 years, I don't give a
Yep.
fuck.
I will.
Save the receipts. Let them know at all times
They're
when they
trying
get.
to still bring it back. I'm not gonna let this shit go
Mhm.
while they're still trying to implement this shit. It's like, no, no, it's not happening.
Yeah. Leo Fisher, wow, thanks for the 30. A mongrel dog saying Secretariat Triple Crown winning racehorse is ugly. That is Frost to Henry Cavill. Oh, I didn't
Oh.
know where this was going. This was one of these super chats where I was like, I didn't read it before. I'm just reading it for the first time. And I'm like, uh-oh, this could, who knows what this is gonna say. Thank you, Leo.
That is true though.
I think Frost is, yeah, if I were her and I had a sweet, sweet gig and was the face of a network and it all went to shit, I'd be like, oh man, I'm basically, she's, you know, basically doo doo.
But
Hot doo doo. Like, who's gonna
it's just
hire
so
her?
bizarre that it's so bizarre to go after like the one guy everybody likes. Like it's like
Yeah.
wh-
He's like America's
where
sweetheart.
yeah, where would you like what are you doing? Like what did you think this was gonna get you? I don't understand. Like everybody was gonna be like, oh yeah, Henry Cavill, me too. Like
Mhm.
no.
It's good. It's a good sign. I like that these things come up. It gives the public an opportunity to really push back. I think we're as a collective right now, we are getting in like some very good practice with pushing back. Like I really
Mhm,
do feel like the fucking tides are turning. Like I shot something, I don't want to talk about it yet, but I shot something very cool, kind of for a network that it's something that kind of has to do with like censorship in comedy and like the fact that this
that's
is even being
awesome.
tackled and that of course it's like me I did a thing like that feeling aside, it's really cool that it's a sign for me that like okay people are really starting to like take this more seriously, and to me it's just like okay good, like it's the shit I've been saying for 2 years, people are
Mhm,
starting to come around like. And I just was saying like yeah, just because our culture has become like more PC and woke doesn't mean people's sense of humors have changed at all. We are all still laughing
mhm.
at
Yeah.
stereotypical jokes, at sexist racial jokes, like
It's actually really annoying because you know that all of those super woke people are like always laughing like when they're not behind the computer, like when they hear like a racist or sexist joke or whatever, that they're human,
like
they're
stop it.
laughing. Like, come
Yeah.
on. Like
We're not
give me a
we're not
break.
that different anymore, and you can't
Exactly.
hold back a laugh, like, you can't. It's like breathing,
Yeah.
it's
So
like
it's just don't
peeing.
kid yourself, man. Like you think that's funny. Come on now. Like, oh,
Yeah. I think there's a collective of, like, people are earning getting more of their nerves up, like and not everyone can be brave in all of the same ways at all of the same time, like, it's so it is probably fun to be like, "Ah, fuck you, you got vaccinated, you fell for it," but, like, then
mm,
you, like, see real people and
mm,
these people were pressured and put in a horrible situation. Like, obviously, hall monitors aside,
mm,
there's millions of people who were pressured into getting this thing, and
yeah.
how horrible that must feel to,
Mhm.
like, live with that, to being like, "Wow, I have something crazy and mysterious in my body, and I have no clue what it's
Mhm.
gonna fuck with and what's gonna happen to me in the next
Yeah,
few years."
I'm never gonna give a hard time to those kind of people that had to make that choice, but the ones that, like, if you scroll down their Twitter and then you see, like, a fucking selfie of themselves getting the fucking jab, and they're like, "You should do it too." I'll be like, "You know what? Go fuck yourself," like, whoever you are, like or, like, the ones that, posted it of their kid getting it or whatever. I'm like, "Dude,"
Oh, the
like
virtue signaling
yeah,
was
the virtual
ridiculous.
signaling, like, of the kids getting it, like, I'm like, "Nah." Like, that's the kinda stuff, like, I draw the line where I'm like, "Nah." Like, there's no amnesty for people like that. Like, I'm sorry, go fuck
Mhm.
yourself.
But to see people, like, hit back on this particular article, because they're very much it's getting so much attention because 'cause they're putting it out there very bluntly, like, "Please forgive
Mhm,
us for what we did during COVID," and then to see this wave of, like, "Fuck no," it makes me
mhm.
so happy
Yeah, me
because
too. Dude, did you see the ratio on that fucking article? It was,
Mhm,
like, over 30,000 comments or something like that. I was
mhm.
like, I've never seen any thread like that
It's really
insane
exciting
before.
because the cracks of the foundation are crumbling, and, I didn't expect to see it fall apart as quickly as it is. If you think about it, like,
Mhm,
when did this all start? Like, full throttle, March of 2020.
mhm,
It's gonna be, it's 2.5 years later,
mhm.
which is a lot of time when you say it like that, but it
I
doesn't
think
feel like
it's
that
too
much
long,
time.
Chrissy. I mean, I'm surprised it's taken this long, to be
Think
completely honest
about
with you.
how long our government has kept up lies, like, and how much is still being kept from us about shit that's
Mhm.
happened decades and decades ago. The fact that I think this much truth is coming out about the last 2 years, I think is very cool and positive and speaks to people hungrily researching stuff and
Mm.
not letting people off the hook and, like,
I think
Alex Berenson fighting, suing, getting back on Twitter. It's like,
Mhm.
I
I
think
think one
people are
of
hungry
the
to fight.
biggest things that shined a light on what was happening with COVID, was the Canadian truckers, and I really mean that
Mhm.
because I think
It was
that
big.
the Canadian truckers basically showed that you can go out in the dead of winter, because it was fucking February, in the dead of winter in Ottawa, and fucking stay out all night in the fucking cold, in the freezing cold, for this justice, or I should say injustice, against this injustice, and showed people that, hey, you know what, we're still alive, like, after we've gone out in the freezing cold, and, like, all this stuff has happened to us, and all this shit, and everyone's still alive, and everyone's fine, and I think really it started to kick for people that, like, hey, maybe this
Yeah.
isn't such a deadly disease, and maybe, maybe the governments are not handling it quite well,
Yeah.
because they started
Ha
to see what
when has
happened.
when have you ever met a trucker that's not, like, a nice dude? You know what I mean?
I
Like,
know. They're the nicest people.
so it's like you're gonna shit on truckers, you're gonna close down their bank accounts, you're gonna
Yep.
have their shit towed,
Mhm.
all for an actual peaceful protest?
Yeah. There was,
This
like, not a
Yeah.
single violent situation that
Nope.
happened over there. It was
Nope,
it
I
was
remember,
super
like,
wild.
Viva Frei was, like, on the ground reporting, and, like, a cop maybe came up to him and was like, "Oh, did your people do this spray paint?" And ended up being, like, a kid or something, like,
Mhm.
a
Yeah,
nearby, like,
yeah.
teenager.
Yeah.
That was
Mhm.
really cool. I was really happy for his reporting on that. I'm so
That
happy
was so
for,
great.
like, Savannah Hernandez's reporting, like, at the border. Like, she's like this
Mhm.
little thing, and she's out there in all these dangerous places.
She's
She's in fucking
spunky. I
Philly
like
and
her.
Portland. So spunky, full of spunk, 100%
Mhm.
spunk. And I feel honored, like, and Drew Hernandez too, like, so many people I, like, consider, like, buds or at least good acquaintances. I'm like, "Wow, like, these people are out here, like,
Mhm.
really
Yeah,
making a difference."
Viva is, like, honestly a personal hero of mine, because of what he did for the truckers, and the fact that, like, I was only able to see through his eyes what was happening because I was in Mexico. I couldn't be down there, and, the media wasn't covering it, so thank God for people like him that were out there
Mhm.
covering it the way that they were, and, I think one of the best moments that he did during that whole thing was when he went and, decided to talk to the anti-Hong Kong protesters. So there was
The
like a yeah,
anti-honkers.
the anti-honkers, like, they were like this,
Wow.
like, tiny group of people that were like, "We're protesting the protests," and they're like
No.
the fucking, like,
"Where are your trucks?
maskers and the
You're on foot like
locals.
an idiot." Yeah.
And so he's trying to talk to them, and they're like, they didn't even wanna have a conversation, and he would be like, "I just wanna have a conversation with you," and they'd be like, "No, get out of here," like, and it's just like, you're not even able to have a conversation, like, you're not even convinced enough of your own conviction that you need these
Wow.
masks, and you need these lockdowns, and you need this whatever, that you can't even have a conversation one-on-one with somebody. You just have to tell them to fuck off. Like, it's so wild to me when people can't have, like, just a basic conversation to back up their own claims.
Yeah.
It was wild to see that.
Yeah, and that's what's really I think was great about Alex Stein, like, he would get in people's
Mm,
faces and is so good at just, like, asking questions, and especially his haters and, like, Antifa people that would come out and try to, like, shut him down, like, they just had no answer. These people can't I'm sure there are leftists and progressives who can debate and prove their point and, like, make coherent thoughts, but nobody I've ever seen out in any of these videos can form a
mm-mm,
sentence. They
no.
just have anger and short hair, and, they don't think past
Apparently,
that,
they
I guess.
spit on people now too.
And spitting, yeah, and you could tell that was a dehydrated spit. It was stringy, it was sad.
Oh, yeah, ugh.
Crash Mondo, thanks for 5. Post enough receipts, that they'll all move to California and secede, then we'll wall them out. Yeah, it sounds like a plan.
Oh God,
Mitchell
California.
Fields for 10. Yes, there are only 2 sexes, pitchers and receivers. Pitchers can play a game together. Receivers are just waiting for the balls. We played World Series tonight. Oh, how is that? How is the sports going? When the
How's
Yankees were
the
out, we stopped
sports?
watching because Frank
I was
loves the
never
Yankees.
huge into baseball. Like baseball and American football always kind of, went over my head. But I was more of a basketball girl myself. Basketball and
Mhm.
hockey, obviously, because hockey. I'm Canadian. I
You
have to think
strike me, Nina,
hockey.
as a basketball cheerleader. Like that, you're giving me that vibe.
Oh, definitely. I'm
Mhm.
definitely that vibe. But but the sexy cheerleader leaders
Yes,
though,
of
because I'm
course.
not into that whole like
What other
weird.
kind is there?
Well, have you seen the new cheerleaders, Chrissy? Because they like a lot of them
No.
are uglified now, and some of them are overweight. It's
Oh, are
unacceptable.
they like diversity hires? Like we have to hire some fatties?
I think so. And also like they like a lot of them now don't even wear mini skirts anymore. They're like wearing like pants because they're like, oh, we're doing
Ew,
like dance
stop
numbers.
it.
It's
Stop it.
ridiculous. It's
Don't be a
ridiculous.
cheerleader at all if you're not comfortable with a skirt. Go
Exactly.
work at the fucking bank if you wanna wear pants, all right?
Exactly.
You're gonna be in front of people dancing, I'm sorry, you have to look good. It's how the
Exactly.
world works. Everyone will be happier for it. Slag Lesser 5, the writer of Julia and Julia got a very karma ending for her COVID stance. I don't recall this. Julia and Julia.
I don't recall this either.
Who
I don't
wrote it?
know. I don't
Nora
know what happened.
Ephron. She died. Why
Oh
you
no! Did
laugh?
she?
Oh my god, this is just it's
Oh
shocking
no,
'cause,
that's dark.
I wasn't expecting this at all. I don't know anything about this person.
Somebody said
Julie
I'm too
Powell?
old to be a cheerleader.
Stop it. Shut up. Shut your mouth. Julia Powell, writer for Food. Julia she dies at 49. That's very young. I'm guessing it's what I think it is.
Ooh, that sucks.
Cardiac arrest.
No.
Oh boy.
Oof. Oof.
Oofers. Well,
Did you see that one video of that actress? I forget what her name is, but she's like all like she came out and she said that she got Bell's palsy from she thinks that it was from the vax, but then she was all like, "I do it again."
of course, they all said that.
I was like, "What?"
Wow.
The video
But
was so
but thank
bizarre.
God I got the jab or else it would have been much worse.
The
It's like
video
it's
was so
almost a
bizarre because
meme.
she was all, like, crying, and I was expecting her to be like, "I regret getting it," or whatever, and then she was all, like, doubled down. I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
fuck."
Oh my god. Died suddenly, but it would have been so much worse. And, still in Canada, wish we had Nuremberg 2.0 trials for all the pandemic lockdown pushers, especially for Trudeau and Christian Freeland. Who's Christian
Mm,
Freeland? Is
I
he
don't know.
Canada also?
I don't know. I think so. I have no idea.
Who
God,
is he? He
I'm out of
is
Canadian politics
yeah,
right now.
Canadian politician.
Yeah, I'm so out
Uh,
of Canadian politics right now. I
currently
know they got
deputy
a new, conservative leader. Apparently he's alright, but I don't know. I'm so tired of career politicians. I'm like, I can never trust politicians anymore. Like this the new guy for the conservative leader of Canada, like he says all the right things, and then I'm like, okay, let's
Yeah,
see what you actually do when you get into power. Because Trudeau said
exactly
all the right things too at the time.
right.
I love that
Wow,
guy's
it's
avatar.
very sad. Yeah, it's like we were not seeing this many deaths. It's hard to ignore. Jim Farm, did you see what Crowder put out Tuesday? I think about the possible fibrous growth in blood vessels. Oh boy.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
don't even know if you could read
we've
the super chat on this
I
on YouTube.
know. There's
Guys.
pictures of people. There's pictures of what
Yeah,
people
moving
who
on,
hit
Chrissy.
moving
Yeah, moving
on.
on, moving on. I've
Zach
seen it. I've
Toll.
seen it.
I would argue that Koof does kill some of the oh, she said is that Julie Powell? That's the person who died? No.
No
No, you
way.
gotta be oh my god, it is her.
Oh my god.
Whoa. I would argue that the Cookie Crisp does end some of the right people, the anti people. / maskers are dying in legions. Wow!
Oof.
That is crazy.
So that's why they're saying it's karma. Oh my god. That's fucked up.
Whoa. What a horrible thing to say.
But that's why I'm saying, like, like, I can't forgive people who said shit like that. Like, because a lot of people said that to me. They were like, "Oh, you're a fucking grandma killer, and I hope you fucking die from COVID." And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, can you be
People
a
were
human
rude,
being? Like,
beyond
Jesus
rude.
Christ.
But you know what it is? It's all, social conditioning, because you would never
Mhm,
be that rude yourself at the gate. It's like you just see you wanna bond it's like you wanna it's like trauma bonding. You wanna bond with people with you. You wanna feel like you're not stupid. You wanna feel like you're not making bad choices. You don't wanna feel like you were misinformed. You don't wanna feel like you were pressured into something. You wanna
mhm.
feel like you made the right decision
That you're in
and
control of your
you were in
life. Yeah.
control, that
Yeah.
you looked into it, that you didn't turn a blind eye
Mhm,
to possibly negative aspects.
mhm.
Everyone wants to we're all at the end of the day, we're all, with few exceptions of, evil people, doing the best we can with the information that we have, and a
Exactly.
lot of people are just looking at you know what I mean? A lot of
Yep,
people
blinders.
have blinders on, and they are just and think about your social circle. There are people who think about if nobody in your family, nobody in your friend circle, you're the only one who thinks
Mhm,
the way you do about this thing. Very easily, you could be, you know,
mhm.
strong-armed, pressured. There's people in our family who were really
Yeah,
thinking about it. So it's
my
it
dad
depends who's around you.
Yeah, my dad, God rest his soul, because he passed away in February, but he was like, he would always call me because he was still in Iran, and he would call me and be like, "Have you gotten it yet? Like, I want you to get the vaccine." And like, he's just like, he kept telling me like, "Don't go around people," and like, he was so scared, and he just wanted me to get it and like be safe and stuff like that. And I was like from the very beginning, I was like telling him, "Dad, like, I'm going to live my life. I'm not gonna be that girl. Like, you raised me differently, you know that, and I'm always gonna question things." And he's like, whenever I would talk to him, he'd be like, "I'm proud of you. Like, I understand that you have to question things, but like, I
Mhm.
just want you to be safe. So I hope you get
Right.
it." And like, blah, blah, blah. And I was always like, "I'm never getting it, dad." Like, just,
And that
like,
comes from,
no.
dad impulse to protect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always, my parents were always like, "Don't lose your job, don't lose your job," all throughout my pursuing comedy,
Mhm.
for years, even when I would be start to make money, they'd be like, "Don't care, don't lose your job, don't
Mhm.
lose your health benefits," and I understand because it's they worked their asses off to pay for college for me, so it's the
Mhm.
least I could do was hang on to my, obviously, the job that I needed this degree for as
Mhm.
long as I could, as a way to kind of, I don't know, maybe I felt like I owed it to them, maybe but looking back, it's I probably should have quit many years ago.
Mm.
I could have handled it, but I think, I felt pressured by them to stay in, corporate America
I
and,
understand.
be stable.
I totally understand that. And somebody in the chat said something funny that I think could be on a t-shirt that said, "Jesus forgives, I don't." I like
Oh,
that. I think that should be on a t-shirt. I would buy that.
God.
Jesus forgives, I don't.
Yeah. Ooh, Carnell is back for 10. Them, my loved one died suddenly of heart issues. Me, I'm sorry. Were they? Yeah. Were they? You crisscrossed? Them. That's rude to ask me, bro. You asked me my status to come into your house last year for Turkey Day for food. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
Yeah, isn't that funny? It's on one hand, it's everyone's entitled to your personal medical decisions, and on the other, oh, suddenly they're not.
I can't believe that was a thing, dude. That was a thing. Like, people were asking people's vaccination status before they got together for fucking
Yep.
Thanksgiving and
People
fucking Christmas.
testing at the door,
I
not
would
even believing your test results, testing you when you freaking showed up.
I cannot believe that we lived through that reality, Chrissy. Like, I was going mad at that time. I was like, this is fucked up. Like
But it's
we're in
like, I just
another
never those
dimension.
people wouldn't have me, like, those people would not even
Mhm.
have me over, so in a sense, it was just, like, a lot of people we didn't see for 2 years, and that was
Yes,
it.
same here. Well, I was like, you know what? I'll never see you again. Like, I really don't care if I ever see you again at this point. Because if that's the kind of person you are, I want to have nothing to do with you. You can go fuck yourself. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird to me because I'm like, like there's more important things in life than than that. You know what I'm saying? Like like being together and being actually part of a family is more important than, oh, we may or may not get this flu. Like it's like,
Yeah. It's interesting, and it's like, you know what,
you
like,
crazy?
the people who stayed normal and didn't freak out, like, we're fine. It's the people who alienated their friends and family and said, "No, you can't come over, I won't see you." It's like, those are the
Mhm.
people with some shit to get over because they have to come to grips with the fact that they were horrible to friends and family over
Mhm.
something that was BS and overblown, and they kind of fell for some shit, and they actually have to reconcile that they treated people that they supposedly love this way.
Yeah, they were like a bunch of Karens, and that's exactly what happened in that article. Like the Amnesty article, like I read it, and she was talking about how like she went on a trail and like she was like wearing a mask on the trail and blah blah blah. I'm like, this bitch, she was one of those Karens that would like run around like in the middle of the forest by herself, and then she's passing by a fucking person that's running by, and she's like, wear a mask, please, and like it's just getting away from the like outdoors. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
these people are the people that were the problem. It's like, these fucking crazies. And now they want to make themselves feel better by being like, we were misinformed. We
And
didn't
it's no, it's
know.
like, no, no, no. It's like surely somebody if you had a difficult person in your life who wasn't getting vaccinated, like, it's not that I'm sure they were trying to explain to you why, and
Mhm.
you would not hear it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you bullied them, shamed them. There's people in the chat, for sure people were using children as pawns, old
Mhm.
people as pawns. It's fucking disgusting what people did.
Yeah. I mean, especially in New York. Like, I mean, in New York, that whole thing that happened with the old folks home and how many people died, like it's fucking crazy.
Oh,
Like
no,
if
but we get Cuomo at because he fucking grabbed an ass, like,
yeah, I
okay,
know.
sure,
I'm like,
yeah.
this fucker,
No,
like
they had to do that so that they wouldn't get Murphy and Whitmer out for doing the same
mhm.
shit.
That's
So
crazy. What do you think is gonna happen this election, Chrissy? Do you think the red wave is real?
I
Do you think
feel
it's
the
gonna
red
happen?
wave. The red wave is totally real. It all comes down to fortification, I guess. It
Mm,
comes down to because it's palpable. Even in New York, it's crazy. Like everyone's saying that Zeldin is up in the polls. And that's the thing is like the polls always go to Democrats anyway.
mhm,
So, you know, again, like and you want to believe that what you feel is reflected in the votes, like in the results, but now we know that that is not always the case.
mhm. But you know what? It would be if everybody went out and voted. Trust me, you guys. There's
Go
no way that you
You
can
have to
stop
keep
that
trying.
many people.
Yeah,
Like,
you have to, like you cannot throw your hands up and be like, "Who fucking cares?" It doesn't
mhm,
mean no, they want you to feel like it doesn't mean anything.
exactly. Like,
You have to keep trying. You can't
mhm. Don't
just be
stop.
apathetic.
Like, just even if you think that it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter anyway, right? So don't go do
Right.
it. So
What
go
else are
do
you gonna
it.
do? It's what,
Yeah.
an hour out of your day? Come on.
Yeah. Just go and
You
fucking
don't
do
have
it.
to wonder, like, what if.
Vote, you guys. Vote, vote, vote.
Yeah, and I remember when, like, like, our friends didn't wanna see us. I remember, like, oh, there was a friend party, and my friends are all comedians. But, like, a lot of Frank's friends are from, like, high school and college and stuff, and, like, I remember
Mhm.
it was, like, a friend party, like, you can't, unless you're jabbed, you have to, like, only sit outside. I was like, "So wait, you're proposing that we are to go to a party where we can only sit
Oh
outside? We can't go
my
in your
god,
house?" And,
dude.
and it's like, I don't think people realized
They
how
wanted to segregate you at the
condescending and
party.
shitty they were.
That's fucked up. Like,
And
I
now it's like, "We're still here. What are you gonna do?"
that never happened to me, thank God. That never happened to me in Mexico because my friends were really chill. Like, all of my Mexican friends, even though they were like kind of scared, and they all got jabbed. Like all my friends got jabbed, but they were never like, you need to get it too, or you can't come over anymore. Or like nobody was like that. Everybody in Mexico was really, really fucking chill. Like they were like, we're gonna do it. It's your decision if you want to do it or not. We don't really give a fuck. But like I heard stories though from Canadian friends and Canadian people. It's mostly like all my stories are mostly from Canada, and like the horrors that went on over there. Because I mean, they shut down churches, they shut down everything, they arrested fucking pastors. They like,
Mhm.
there
That
was
guy
so much
Artur,
Mhm.
Pawlowski.
Yep, yep. I mean, like, I mean, how's that guy feeling right now? Like, reading these
Mhm.
articles, like, oh, we need amnesty. I mean, I bet that guy's forgiveness is probably like, I mean, he's a preacher, like, he almost has to forgive people because it's his job.
Uh, it is
Um,
hard, like, you have to for your own well-being so that you don't, because like, resentment state in negativity when you harbor it in your body, it truly
mhm,
does turn to disease, so it might feel good to rub it
I
in
agree.
someone's face, but, like, for your own mental and physical well-being, you really do have to, like, forgive, and, like, I'm totally with Holographic Sweater on this, like, if you open your heart to the love of God, you can forgive those
Mhm,
who wrong you as you have trespassed against God, like, if you really do for your own self have to be like, most people are good. Everyone's did the best they could with the information they had, and
mhm,
it became very clear how little information people had and how wrong of
mhm.
information people had. And fear is a powerful tool, and it
Mass hysteria is real.
yeah
Like, these things happen. And as long as you acknowledge it, I totally, I'm with you, because I'm about forgiveness too, and hope, obviously.
this is you see that guy's a preacher. He almost has to forgive people.
That's what I
It's
said.
like you have to.
Well,
Imagine
that's
being a
his
preacher
job.
or being, like, a religious person and you just, like, fucking can't help but hold grudges and you're just like, "Ah."
I know. Yeah, you're like, oh, it's like, I think you have to forgive me. It's kind of your job. But it's, I'm with you though. Like, I've always been a very advocate of the saying that, you forgive but you don't forget. So like,
Mhm.
I'm
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of like that, like about a lot of people. Like, yeah, I'll forgive, but I'm not gonna forget what happened, and I'll remind you of what
Yes.
happened. you know,
Yeah. You're not like a
sure, I'll
dumb bitch
forgive you.
going back to her ex-boyfriend where you forgive and you forget. No, like,
Mm-mm.
you have to forgive to move on with your life. Like, you have to like, people that wrong you, even if you never see or speak with them and you never have that conversation, you even for yourself have to forgive them because, like,
Mhm.
it's not good for you to hang on to
Yep.
that.
Yep. I'm fully with that. I'm
Like,
fully with that.
I have totally in my own mind forgiven my dad for all the shit, because it's like,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
He was raised the way he was. His parents, his family situation was toxic as fuck. He grew up toxic as fuck. I have to think of him like a retarded person. He does not have the skills to connect
Yep.
with me, to know me as an adult person. Like, he
Yep.
has so many demons. He will not address them.
Mhm.
So you just have to be like, "You know what? I love you for who you are. You raised me. You got me to adulthood without" you know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, "You didn't leave me in a hot car.
Yeah.
Y
Yeah.
okay, you did your job,
I
buddy.
didn't get
Good job."
kidnapped. I'm
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
yeah.
We're
You
good.
you know what I mean? Like, you di nobody, like, did anything no uncles did anything crazy under your watch.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep. I'm the
I
same
did
way.
get lost at Hershey Park, though. I mean, they did eventually find me and then
Oh
slapped
god.
a leash on your girl, but nothing crazy happened in that time.
Oh god.
For
I
yes,
feel
exactly,
you.
forgive, but hold it over their head for the rest of their life. I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with that
I'm
too.
fine with a healthy nudge.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, Lisa Roberts is right. Like, her message, yeah, definitely. Or
Oh,
6
there are
or
some people
or
that we
6 feet
don't like.
under, or 6
There
feet
I'm
under.
talking about your friends, the people you're gonna see all the time, like, you can't turn your back on your whole family like they
No.
did to us.
Yeah.
You do have to turn the other cheek. I mean, if someone's still being a cunt about it at this point, like, okay, but
Yeah.
if people are starting to, like, really you have to make up with people. You can't, like
Yeah,
again,
you
that's
can't
gonna
hold on to
sour
that.
you and give you disease.
Yeah, you can't
There are
hold
certain people who don't deserve that treatment, who
Mm-mm.
knowingly did this shit.
Yep. Like people like Fauci, Trudeau, Newsom. These people, I mean, Newsom, fuck that guy. Like
Mhm.
all of these people, they can fuck right off.
Yep, right off. Right off into the ocean. John Bagliao, Sydney Watson and Razorfist said it best, "Never forget and never ever forgive."
Mm,
Okay, yeah, I think I'm just talking about, like, you know what I mean? You don't wanna, like, never talk to your fucking mom again or something, or,
yeah.
like, try to. I mean, they might not kn
You
you know what I mean?
have to have discernment. Like, I
Right.
mean, like life is not black and white. That's the issue. You know, like you can't like if you live your life that way, you know, like we talk about that in the nerd sphere too. Only the Sith think in absolutes. Like you just can't
Exactly.
think like that. Because if you do, then that's how things like, you know, fall apart usually.
For exactly this. Forgive your friends, not your government. Like, your friends, like, the people we know it's
Yep.
it's a symptom. It's a symptom of, like, the disease that was put upon us, like,
Yep.
a symptom of the sickness that was impressed upon all people globally.
Mhm.
It just affected some of us differently than others,
Well,
and,
imagine, I mean, it's, like, they talked about it, I think doctor I forget his name right now, my god, it's the top of my head, but, there was a doctor that talked about the idea that it's mass hysteria and that, you know, mass psychosis. I forget his name, I'm sure the chat will know. Dr. Brett, oh my god, oh, I forget his name, but anyways, he was one of the first people that talked about it, this mass psychosis that's happening, and it's what happens is now people are like it's like being in a hypnosis, right? Like you're in hypnosis and all of a sudden like
mhm,
the hypnosis is over. They like somebody gives you that snap and you snap out of it and you realize, hey, wait a minute, fuck, I was in hypnosis the whole time. So during that time though that you're in hypnosis, you may have done some fucked up shit and you're not even aware of it because you're like in hypnosis. So now yeah, Dr. Robert Malone, thank you, Akbar. Um,
oh,
and
yeah.
Weinstein too. There's Dr. Weinstein as well. But these people talked about this kind of stuff, and they talk about how like once you're out of this hypnosis, it's hard because you really are. It's like as if your mind was somewhere else. You're not in control of yourself. But now that you are, you're starting to realize, oh my God, I made like so many terrible mistakes. It's like being an alcoholic, right? Like you're like, you
Mhm,
make all these mistakes when you're under the influence of alcohol. And then you're like, oh, now I have to kind of do my amends and like go and make amends with all these people because I feel, you know, I feel like I've wronged so many people and I have so much regret, right? And there and people like we're all people, we're all human beings. Everybody has regrets. Everybody has, you know,
mhm,
emotions. I'm sure some people are very angry right now. You know, I'm sure some people are very, very angry about how that they fell for it. You know, those
mhm.
kind of people. I don't think they should be told that I don't forgive you, to be honest with you, because I think it will have the adverse effect. Because right now, those people need support. Like, yeah, you're right, you should be angry. You got fucked. And, you know, so did
And it
everybody
depends
else.
too, like,
Yeah.
how you deal with a friend or a family is different than how you deal with, like, the freaking cunts at the hospital, which is different than how you deal with
Mhm.
your political leaders, which is how you different you know, different from our president, different from Fauci. It's like,
Exactly.
there's tiers on this, and, like, as the
Mhm.
tiers go up, the more fucking information they had. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
All of us at the
Yep.
bottom, very confusing. Not all of us were, like,
Mhm.
in the right sources. A lot of you know, it I think it definitely maybe snapped the last of us out of trusting mainstream media if there were still any left.
Sure. Yes, there was a lot of people blackballed on the mainstream media because of
Mhm.
all this shit. I mean, look at what they did. I mean, we
Yeah.
we talked about it earlier with what Trump said with the whole bleach thing. I mean, people under like now like are starting to realize, holy fuck, like we really didn't understand what was going on because of the fucking media. I mean, remember when CNN had the death counter on their
Like, if
fucking
you were only watching CNN, like, that's imagine
that's
how
scary.
scared you were had to have been
Yeah.
every day if you're just watching the regular channels, and if you have,
Mhm.
like if you're, like, weak to begin with and all your friends are, like, kind of weak
Yep.
and you're all watching CNN, like, of course you're gonna snap, right? You
Yeah.
feel completely powerless, and that sucks.
Terrified. I mean, like, they had a fucking literal death counter on the thing
Yeah.
where the fucking numbers are ticking, and you're like, "Oh, every second somebody else is dying. Oh my god, everyone's
The whole
dying."
time I
Like
was telling myself, "If this thing is meant to take me out, so be it." Like, I've
yep.
really enjoyed myself up until this point, you know, I have
Mhm,
no regrets, so
mhm. That's how I felt about it on the very first day, Chrissy, and that's why I was always like, I had the same stance on it from the day one, was that even if the death rate was 99.9%, even when it was 100% death rate, I was against government lockdown and government interference with people's lives.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
think it
they were
should have
just like, "What can
always
we get
been,
away with now? Oh, we can if they take an inch, they'll take" I don't know, there's a
yeah,
phrase.
if you
You know
give
what I
an
mean?
inch,
Like,
they'll
they're
want a
just
mile.
exactly.
Yeah,
They were like,
yeah.
"Oh, if we can get away with this, what else can we get away with?" And they just kept fucking going. I am mad that more of us didn't push back, but I understand why people were very scared. It
Mhm.
makes me upset that, I for a long time was the only comedian that was like, "I'm not gonna perform where they have vaccine mandates." But then eventually Jim Breuer was on. I'm like, "All right, he's much bigger, people know him."
Mhm.
I'm, like, really pissed that it wasn't more, but people
That's
were
why I have so much
scared.
respect for you, dude, because of what you did and what you said and the things that you said. Like, I have so much respect for people like you, people who stood up to that stuff, people who quit jobs, people who were like, you know what, we're not gonna
Gonna
take
take
it. Like
it.
they were like, you know what, we're not gonna take this shit. We're gonna walk away. And the truckers, all the people who fucking
Yeah.
stood up in any way, shape, or form. I have so much respect for that. I have so much
Yeah.
respect for
It was
that.
scary, like yeah, but I think it helped that in my life I've been fired so many times. I'm like, "Eh, what's another job?
It's
What's
another
losing
one.
another job? What is this, the 15th job I've had in my life? Okay." Like,
Oh,
I
wow.
I will probably if I need to find another day job, like, I will.
Mhm,
But I'm not losing it over this shit. Are you kidding me?
mhm,
Like,
mhm.
hadn't gotten a raise in 6 years. My boss was a total fucking asshole, like a total elitist millionaire scumbag. I was like, "No, I
Ugh,
think I'm good.
mhm.
I think this'll be the hill I die on. Thanks."
Same here. I was like, if I'm gonna die on any hill, it's gonna be on this one right here. Because what else do we got? I'm not gonna fucking be trapped in my house for the rest of my fucking life. Because that's what they want.
Mhm.
That's what they wanted. They wanted people to be
They want
trapped
you
in their
dependent
house.
on them. They're like, "Ooh, what can
Yep.
we do if we dangle their livelihood?"
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
there's a few topics that I'll die on the hill of. One
yeah, it
is
felt
this
good. It felt
thing,
good to know, like,
and
this is it. Yeah.
and the second one is the pedo stuff. Like,
Mhm.
if you're gonna fucking they're gonna try and add that shit to the protected class. They wanna add that P to the protected class. I will die on that hill. It's not
Yeah.
happening on my fucking watch.
It's good
That's
to
it.
know what your limits are and what your boundaries are and, like, what you like, once I realized, like, what's the worst case scenario? I get fired. Am I okay with that? Yeah, I am. I
Mhm.
will survive. I'm not gonna like, it's gonna be okay.
Yep. Same here. I love you, Chrissy.
Oh, I love you
Oh,
too.
so glad. So
Vote
glad we
vote
found
wood
each other.
chipper. Vote wood chipper.
Yes.
Wood chipper for president.
Mark that
Woody
box on the ballot box.
vote Woody D. Chipper for president.
What did you
RPG
do?
Woody D. Chipper. RPG dad for 5. My grandmother was not able to see her first and only great-grandchild, and I could not go to her funeral in Puerto Rico. No amnesty. Oh, no. See that I understand your anger, dude. I mean,
Mhm.
my mom died of horrible brain cancer before the pandemic, but if she was caught in all this shit, oh, I'd be in a different place for sure.
Yeah, I know, like, Anna, she mentioned that she couldn't, like, her and her family couldn't, go to one of the funerals for her grandpa, I think. I mean, there's a lot of people that went through that. I mean, that kind of stuff is devastating, and I can understand why people wouldn't forgive stuff like that. I could totally understand that.
Mhm. That's crazy. Crash Mondo. Even if the red wave happens, we cannot let up. The GOP have let us down way too many times. Hashtag empty promises. Yeah,
That's also
absolutely.
true.
There is
It's true.
even more of a conversation going on. Like people just weren't talking about rhinos as much as they are
Mm,
even like a couple of years ago. Even when
mm.
Trump was people weren't talking about rhinos as much when Trump was in power.
That's because, Trump hadn't been betrayed yet by a bunch of
True.
rhinos, and then he did, and then
True.
they were like, "Wait a minute, hang on, the
True.
fuck?"
John Pagdelau. The hardest part of voting is choosing between the two evils. Yes.
Mhm. It's
Uh,
true.
I will forgive in certain situations, but I sure as shit will not forget.
Don't
Agreed.
forget, man, do
Nope.
not
How
forget.
could you possibly forget?
Yeah, remember those pictures of the fucking kids in schools in uh, like the self-isolated fucking
Mhm.
chambers with the band and like in the band thing, and they're like playing the music, like the instruments and those fucking like
Uh,
things, or like they had like masks on their face with like a hole cut through it so that they can put the fucking instrument into their mouth. That's like, how can you ever forget any of this shit? Like that, I can never forget that. Meanwhile, you got fucking, people like Stephen Colbert fucking dancing, doing the vaccine dance.
ew, what a
Uh, you know,
disgusting shill he
oh,
is.
just
Yeah.
fucking disgusting. Like I'm never gonna forget that shit, dude. Are you
Like,
kidding
it's
me?
not it wasn't enough to just be an unfunny, progressive, leftist, like, loser. It's like, you have to
Mhm.
shill for big pharma?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Ugh.
What we're watching is just a huge commercial?
Mhm. Like,
Gross.
same
Oh
thing
my
with people
god.
like the fucking actors with, like, the guy that played like Paul Rudd. He came out and did that fucking rap or, like, fucking song or whatever, like, "Put on your fucking mask," and like, blah, 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 and called people retards for not wearing masks and stuff, and I was like, "Bruh," like, this kinda stuff, I'm never gonna forget that stuff,
I
like,
used to think
ever.
rhinos were just very old Republicans. Like, they're just
Really?
old. They're very old, they're gray, they're crusty, they're creaky, they're not flexible, they don't get around, it's,
Oh, that's funny.
something
That's
about
funny.
me. John, again, I forgave my family for uninviting me to Thanksgiving and Christmas in 2016. Then being uninvited the last few years may have made me a bitch on the topic of forgiveness.
Mm,
Okay. So
I
I want
feel
to know
you.
why they didn't invite you in 2016.
Trump.
Was it Trump?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
It must
fucking
have been, I'm assuming, because that's the 2016 year.
that's
That's when a
really
lot of people
hard.
got disowned too. Like a lot of people, like you
And
saw a
then
lot of
it's like,
those
and yeah,
disowning
like,
my son.
what is your family even doing? I mean, it was so glamorized. You open up a Cosmo magazine and they go, "Why you should break up with your Trump voting boyfriend." They
Yeah,
really
yeah.
encouraged, uh, you know, distancing yourself from people who voted for Trump.
It's insane. Yeah, I remember like I'd see posts like I'm disowning my son because I found out he voted for Trump. And I was like, what kind of mother would do this? That's like insane to me. Like, I'm
Mhm.
gonna disown my child because they politically lean a different way than I do. That's
They were
fucked up.
pressured. They were pressured to, like, either turn them, literally turn them to your side or disown.
Mhm.
It's
It's
so
crazy.
disgusting.
It's madness.
Literally turning your back on your family. Gross. Vieutius. Kelly J. Keen's having a Let Women Speak rally in New York City on November 14th against puberty blockers, people who have sex without consent
Ooh,
in women's prisons, etc. A big, loud, righteous spectacle. November 14th.
dang.
What am I doing that day? What day of the week is that?
That's a
Is this
lot.
something I should go to? That's on a Monday. I will be in the city that day.
Oh,
I do have a teeth cleaning and then wet spot.
so maybe you should show up for a minute and
Mm. All right, if it's gonna be a thing, I'll go.
make sure you take your phone or something to record it just in case something exciting happens.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna strap a camera to my head.
Perfect.
I wanted to bring this up because every other time Nick Cannon has a child, I feel differently.
Mm.
I go back and forth between like, what the this guy just can't keep it in his pants to you know what? Good for him. And I think I'm now back to being like, you know what? Good for him. I think he has now impregnated someone with his 11th baby.
11? Holy
11th,
shit.
11th baby. Alyssa Scott confirms she's pregnant with Nick Cannon's 11th baby in nude shoot. This is hot news from yesterday. But
So
this
this
woman
guy's
is
like never
gorgeous.
planning on getting a fucking bisectomy like ever or what? Like
No,
what
why
the
would
fuck?
you? He has all the money. This woman's very hot, by the way. Who can blame him? So this is the woman who they tried to have a baby and then the baby died kind of
Oh,
right away.
that sucks.
Pregnant Alyssa Scott used nude maternity shoot pics to confirm she's pregnant with Nick Cannon's 11th baby. The
Wow.
model shared 2 photos via Instagram on Thursday showing herself and the Masked Singer. Imagine being your major credit is the Masked Singer. But you know what? Who gives a shit? He can afford to have 11 babies. Host sharing a
Does he
bathtub.
really have that much money?
I guess so. Does he has a bunch of shows and shit? The expectant star stood in the front snap while Canon 42 touched her baby bump. The actor kissed her stomach. I mean, this is a beautiful photo. She's
That's a
gorgeous.
gorgeous photo.
The Wild and Out star co-star welcomed their first child together, Zen, in June of 2021. But he died because of brain cancer 5 months later. That's very sad and
Oh,
tragic.
that's
So
so sad.
they did it again. Scott, who is also the mother. Oh, did they spell it wrong? It's Nick. Yet they put Scott. Oh no, they're talking about the girl. Scott, who is also the mother of a 4-year-old daughter from a previous relationship, sparked pregnancy. Look how gorgeous this woman is.
Wow.
Stunning.
What
Okay.
does she do? Is she like a model or something?
She must be. She's so pretty.
She's pretty.
She confirmed the news with a picture of her budding belly in October, though she did not share Cannon's paternity at the time. The Drumline star is currently expecting a baby with Abby De La Rosa, who he shares twins Zion and Zillan with. So there's currently 2 women
2
pregnant with his
women are
baby.
pregnant? Oh my god.
He has 7 more children with 4 other women, including another set of twins with Mariah Carey, Moroccan and Monroe, who are 11.
I don't
This is her.
I don't know what to say. Like
I would be starting to be worried, be like, "You have enough money for all these babies, right?" She is beautiful. She should be having as
she's
many kids as
gorgeous.
possible.
I don't like I can't believe that 2 women are pregnant simultaneously with this
Right?
dude's baby. That's fucked up.
It's literally a baby war. They should have a joint baby shower.
Do these people like not care about that kind of thing? Like I guess monogamy
It's
is just
very
like
old
not
school. I mean, like, back in olden days, dudes would just knock chicks up right and left, and the
that's
woman would be like,
true.
"Alright." Like, what do they get in exchange? Money, but also status, and, like, now they're part of his fucking world, you know? It's like with celebrities, like, you
Mhm.
don't even need to be marriage is for pores.
Right.
Uh, if
That's
you
true.
have a baby with an NBA player or a Kardashian, or it's like, you're in, you're good. Like,
Yeah.
you're set.
You made it.
Um, you made it. So, I think,
Yeah, she is a model. The
this is the
model
way in.
debuted her baby bump in October. So she's a
Yeah,
model.
she's gorge. But I have a problem with the dumb names they're giving their kids. He and Brittany Bell for their part shared daughter named Powerful, son named Golden, and 1-month-old Rise.
What the fuck is up with these weird names?
It's literally like they were playing a game of Scrabble and named their kids after the words that they made. Cannon is also
Son
the father.
Golden. Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine this kid growing up? Hi, my name is Golden. Like,
My
what?
name is Two T-O. My dad was bad at Scrabble. Cannon is also the father of 4-month-old son, Legendary, and 1-month-old Onyx with Bree Tiesi and Lanisha Cole.
There's a kid named Legendary.
Yeah, imagine the
Fuck.
pressure you feel growing up. Your name is Legendary, and you're like, you know what? I think I just want to work at Costco.
Yeah, like maybe he's like a mediocre person. Like,
No,
and his
yeah,
name is
your
Legendary.
name is
It's like,
Legendary. You are almost doomed to be a receptionist at a hedge fund. I'm just naming jobs that I've had.
I just don't think he's ever going to be like an NBA player because that's too much pressure. Like it's like
Mhm.
he would have to be legendary. You would have to be like Michael Jordan if you wanted to be like an NBA player, or like you would have to be like the best of the best if you wanted to be like any sport player ever or something. Like that's insane.
In June, Nick
So much
Cannon
pressure.
said on New York City's 94.7 The Block that he failed miserably at monogamy and relationships. You think?
No shit.
No, he's happy.
Look at this guy's face. He's like,
Look at this,
yeah.
11 kids. He might as well be Amish.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
knocking on
wow.
hoes
Oh,
left and
these
right.
kids are cute. These are their
Wait, is
twins with
that
Mariah
Mariah
Carey.
Carey?
Yes, he has twins with Mariah Carey. They're
I
11 now.
didn't know that.
Oh my god, Nina, this is like the OG. This is like in the early years of the Nick Cannon having lots of babies.
Wow, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Oh my god, yeah,
I
these are
didn't know
they're
Mariah's
cute.
baby daddy was Nick fucking Cannon.
Yep, I think they may have been married. other kids.
Wow.
Do you think he remembers all their names? Do you think he has to write them down and, like,
Yeah.
has a flip book?
Is
Alright,
that a monkey
I'm
in this
not
picture?
we're gonna refrain from making any comments about the monkey. Ah, legendary
I love
love.
monkeys, though. I can't believe there was a
Aw,
monkey in that image.
yeah.
That was
When
crazy.
you're rich, you can afford an extravagant pet. Like, who has a fucking Chanel pillow
I know
on
that
their
that pillow is
on
probably,
their
like,
couch?
fucking
Pillow is
$300.
worth more than my whole life. Oh, this is another really cute all the kids are cute.
Aw,
I
that kid
mean,
looks exactly like him.
as long as they're getting love. I mean, this one clearly broke their leg. That's
Oh,
not a
that
good
one broke
start.
their
That's not a good
leg.
sign.
Why would they post this
Yeah,
picture? This
no.
the
This is
fuck?
I can't help but think that Nick Cannon is an absent father. Let's submit this photo of the baby with the broken fucking leg. Oh,
Where
boy.
did he put this
This is
picture?
not good. This is not a good sign.
Do
This is
these
how you
fucking
know
articles,
how do
like,
we
not get
how do
edited
we figure out
anymore?
which kid we have to, like, spend more time with? Oh, this one's got a broken fucking leg. I feel like I would marry someone who will understand me and can stand by me, or lay down next to you, where they're weak and you're strong, and the All That alum explained. And if I can ever find somebody who knows how to hold me down through all my madness, through all my chaos and toxicity, that's probably someone I could rock with for life. Okay, this is the male equivalent of like, "If you can't handle me at my crazy, you don't deserve me when I'm good."
I don't understand how, like, he functions, like, in terms of, like Christmas and holidays, like,
Mhm.
how do you fucking do that? And most of his kids are
Yeah.
really small, so it's like, how do you like, does he just throw one big barbecue and, like, invite, like, all his baby mamas and their
Yeah,
kids to, like,
I
come to it?
imagine
Like,
the baby mamas have to all kind of get along, right?
they would have to. I mean, that's kinda
You're
crazy.
sharing a wallet together. Yeah.
Yes.
Praising an
I
open
don't
relationship.
understand how that would work.
He
Like,
clarified he is not a cult leader.
oh,
That's
wow.
kind of funny. I like seeing the comments. I feel bad for these kids of Nick Cannons who will grow up knowing their fathers and mothers didn't really care if they felt loved or cherished as individuals with their own family unit. Humanity so broken. Um, it is possible to make a child feel loved even if the parents are not married. It
I
takes
agree.
work though.
I
Humanity
agree with
is
that.
not anywhere as broken as in the hood. That's why the majority have gone nowhere in the past and they will be going nowhere in the future. Their culture is not anywhere strong enough to change that future. Too bad they were unable to simply copy the major strategies and more of either the Asian or Jewish cultures, the strongest, most productive groups per capita. That's why the major Ivy League colleges discriminate against them. Damn. Um, I don't get it. Why any woman would have a child with this person is beyond me. No, I don't consider him a man. Real men don't make multiple babies. I don't know.
Oh my
Elon
god.
Musk did it. A lot of guys are doing it.
I was muted and I said, "That guy's going in deep," and then I said, "That's what she said," but it was all muted.
Oh no, you want to try it again?
No, it's fine. It was
This sounds like something
Oh.
I think Kanye West would say right now, but
Mm, sounds
that
like
is
a
a
very Kanye comment.
yeah. Yeah, I think probably people women look at Nick Cannon and see, "Oh, I'm gonna be set for life. Let's" and if you have chemistry and you're like, "Why not? I can't fight the
Mm.
moonlight," and it also helps that you're rich. Party on, Garth.
I don't know what to say 'cause like, that kinda stuff is, like, alien to me. I can't imagine, like, sharing a baby daddy with, like, 11 other women. That would
I
be
would be
insane,
so
and one of
jealous.
them, like, pregnant at the same
Same
time as
time?
me.
Oh, that means, like
Like,
yeah, then you're thinking, like, overlap, and especially if you're thinking, like, "Oh, we were together,"
mhm.
and then you're looking back in your calendar, you're like, "When was he traveling? When did this happen? Like,
Yep.
when was
Like,
this kid conceived?
when was
Oh, I
this
was
person
visiting my
conceived?
fucking Terrence that weekend in North Carolina." Well, fuck you.
Mhm,
Yeah,
exactly. It's like, "Oh my god, I was sick that weekend, you
yeah.
son of a bitch."
Like, "Oh, that was my weekend in Vegas with the girls, you fucking dick."
Now I know why you told me to get out of town.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh,
It
fuck.
there's no way they're all cool with it. But that's the thing is, like, if you're an early Nick Cannon baby mom, then that's one thing, but at this
Yeah, like
point, if you're giving
Mariah, like,
birth
I mean,
to
her kids
number
are grown
10,
up now.
you're giving birth to kids to basically kids 4 through 11, like,
Mm.
no. But if you're a repeat offender, it's like, all right, well, you're already in. If you want to give that kid a sibling, you're like, I'll come back around.
Mhm.
I'll meet.
Mhm.
We had baby 3 together. I'll see you at baby 7 so I can give this kid a sibling. And I think that's what all these women are doing. These sets of women, they have one baby. They go, I'll see you in 5 years. Let's get a sibling
Let's
going.
do it
And then
again. Yeah.
he's basically has fucking 5 families, I guess.
That's fucking wild to
It's
me.
weird.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's a
Somebody said
lot.
I think he's a Muslim. But he's not a Muslim, is he?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know though. I have no fucking idea.
It would be hard. Yeah, because think about it. You're like, oh, the latest baby mom is a fucking model. Like, he's definitely not coming to our house for Christmas. Like, she's hot,
Yeah.
You're like,
Oh
I
my
got a fupa
God.
and stretch marks. This girl's, I can't compete with that shit.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Oh my God. It's alien to me. I
It'd be a
just can't.
reality show. Like, I'd watch that over Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
I was just gonna say, keeping up with the Kardashians. It should be keeping
the
up with
Cannon
fucking
kids.
Nick's baby mamas. Like, how
Yeah.
many fucking kids this guy's got? I'm surprised there's not a show about that already. That's crazy.
11.
They should make one.
How do you know all the names? I can't even name 11 of my own friends.
I mean, they're the dumbest names though. Legendary,
Yeah.
Golden.
Oh, this is my daughter, Calendar. It's just at this point you just name things that you see.
It's like Gwyneth Paltrow, like she named her daughter like Apple or something like that.
Oh,
I was like,
she was the OG weird kid name,
she
Apple
was.
Martin.
Apple,
Now,
yeah.
Apple Martin is probably like 45 years old now.
Yeah, I think she's like 18 now.
Apple Martin. I think she just graduated from college. She was born in 2004.
Wow.
So what does that make her now? 15?
Yeah, like 15, 14, 15.
No, she's 18.
18.
She's 18 now.
I can't believe it's 2022.
Apple Martin is 18 years old. How's that for a mind fuck?
That's insane. I remember when she was born.
Yeah.
That makes me think I could have had an 18-year-old kid right now.
You could we both could have had.
That's so crazy.
I could probably Wow. Like,
I could be a grandma.
Could have had a kid that's a full-grown adult is a crazy thought.
Yeah, like sometimes I think about like if I had a kid when I was 16 and then that kid had like an early pregnancy, I could be a grandma right now.
You could be a grandma and a basketball cheerleader. Isn't that crazy? I would be a cool grandma. I would be like, yeah, let's go to the duck pond. I got some stale bread. Like, what did my grandma do with me? Duck pond. And I played with dolls at her house on like a card table. I'd make forts. We would like watch birds.
Forts, definitely forts.
We would definitely creep on the birds in her backyard. Like I had these little red binoculars and I'd be like, what's that one?
Aww,
and I'd be like,
so
at the end of the day, like, wow, another blue jay. I would just see the same
another one.
3 birds. Wow, a brown one.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I wish that my grandparents, I wish I could talk to my grandparents now as an adult.
I do too. Like, I would love to talk to my grandpa because, I know he was like in the Iranian Navy during World War II. So I think like that would be really cool to talk to him about that. And hear the war stories and all that kind of stuff.
My grandpa would listen to Rush Limbaugh, and I'd be like, "Ooh, what's that?" So that was my first impression of like what it was.
Oh,
like
that's
to be
funny.
a conservative Republican, like
yeah.
And I just was like, "Oh, that's old people stuff."
If you guys got grandparents in the chat, give your grandparents some love because
hug your gramps.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're an old person who lived through the pandemic, fuck yeah, like you should feel good about yourself.
Baller, yeah, like you're a survivor.
Give a shot. Have a drink on me if you're an old person who lived through the pandemic.
Oh God. That reminds me of that Curb Your Enthusiasm joke, like with the survivor. Like, have you ever watched Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Mm-hmm. I love that show.
Do you remember when that one guy's like talking about the 9/11 survivors? And he's like, I have a Survivor too, but it was like a guy from like Survivor, the show.
It's funny.
And he got into like a fight with a Holocaust survivor.
Oh my
And then
god, what a
one
great
guy's like, I like, my nephew died on 9/11. And that guy was like, what, like, oh my God, on 9/11? And he's like, yeah, he died uptown. He got run by a bus.
That's awesome.
Oh, so he wasn't in the building? Like, yeah, no.
Oh my god. I had
I
a
love that show.
grandfather that I never met. My dad's dad I never met.
Mm.
My dad hated his guts.
I
He
didn't really meet my dad's dad either. Like, but I did because I remember meeting him, but I never spent any time with him. So,
Mhm.
like, I just like remember him existing, but I never spent time with him. But my mom's dad, I remember quite well. He was a very nice man. May
Wow.
they rest in peace.
Yeah, shout out to the olds.
Yeah, we love
You're
you.
if you're watching over us, thanks for everything you do. If you're not, well, I hope you're having fun doing that too.
Yeah.
Imagine when you get to heaven, there's an option, like, do you wanna look over your living loved ones, or do you just wanna, like, fucking drink and get blowjobs? Like, do you think there's an
Mm,
option when you get to heaven?
I do. I think that I would personally choose to traverse the ethereal plane. Like, I'd be like,
Okay.
I'm not watching over fucking nobody. Like, get the fuck out of here with
It's
that
like
shit.
work, right? You're basically kind of
Yeah.
like,
Like, it's the sweet release of death. I'm gonna go and freaking traverse the universe. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
watching over people. Like,
Yeah.
stop it. One time, there was a person that called my house, like one of those insurance selling people. Like, they wanted to sell me like credit card insurance in Canada. And they were like, you need to get this credit card insurance. Well, like, because what if, like, you have an untimely death, and then your family has to pay for everything. And at the time, I was like broke as fuck. Like, I was like, I was getting no insurance. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll be dead, and then they'll have to deal with it. And they were like, well, wouldn't you be sad that they have to deal with that? And I'm like, no, I'll be dead. I wouldn't care. Like, you don't seem to
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying. Like, when I'm dead, I'm dead. I'm dead and gone. They can deal with it. I don't really give a fuck. And the guy was like, didn't even know what to say. I was just like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm hanging up now. Bye. Like, he was just trying to make me feel bad. Like, aren't you gonna feel bad that your family has to take care of everything? I'm like, no, I'll be dead. I wouldn't care anymore. I'm
He's like,
done.
"Why is my shame and guilt not helping you to give me money for a thing?"
Yeah, exactly. I was like, sorry.
I just don't wanna die with a lot of laundry to do because,
Mm.
like, then it's like they figure out what to do with your clothes, and they're like, "Oh god," like, "Well, what about that?" You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
someone's gonna open up the laundry room and be like, "Oh god, well,
You have
what are
to
we doing this
wash all these. Damn
damn,
it.
like, she really worked out a lot this week." Alright, yeah.
Oh, those are fun
I just hope
problems to
that when
think
I'm
about.
old, I'm still, like, have good habits, and I don't wanna act like an old person, like, I don't wanna slow down and, like, you know I get it,
Mhm.
you're I'm not gonna be snowboarding till I'm 80. Actually, you know what? Fuck it, I wanna be
Why
snowboarding till I'm
not?
80 if I can.
Yeah.
Um, just try to stay as good as you can for as
You might
long as
not
you can.
snowboard because snowboarding is pretty hardcore on the knees and stuff, but you could
Mhm.
sled. You could sled with the best of them,
Sled.
man. You can
How to get in
fucking
a
slid on
tube.
that shit. Yeah, fucking tubing and all.
Yeah,
You don't have to stop the sports. You just have to
that's true.
shift. You gotta just shift what you're
I
doing.
what I definitely don't want to grow into is, whatever the fuck Madonna is doing.
Oh God.
Which is scary. Wow, what a perfect segue. I'm getting really good at this.
Mm.
Madonna lets out her frustrations as she angrily lip syncs to songs about getting punched in bizarre video and shares a busty clip.
I've never seen this. This is
Whatever
new, I'm
she's
guessing. What
doing to
happened?
herself,
Uh-oh. What
uh,
happened?
she's posting these bizarre videos on Instagram. She's only 64. She was lip syncing to a track, Vent by Baby Keem. Have you ever been punched in your mother effing face? What do you say? Oh, you haven't? All right, wait. The lyrics to the track read. She looks so
Oh
bad.
my
What
God.
happened to her eyebrows? Where are they? Where did they go? Should we send out a
I
search
think
party
they're
for
like
her eyebrows?
bleached blonde eyebrows, so you can't really see
Why
them.
is it a thing?
Oh
Ugh.
my God, what did she do to
gross.
Ew.
This woman has all the money in the world, and she dresses like a dollar store crackhead.
Oh my God. But this, like, low key upsets me because I loved Madonna growing up. Like,
Yeah.
I'll like huge fan of Madonna. Like, just grew up on loving all of her content, her songs.
Yeah, she's very talented. She could have, like, really gone out on a high note. Like, not saying you have to get off social media, but, like, it's sad that
It's so
someone
sad.
so talented and you would think had built up, "Wow, over a career and a life, I have achieved so much," and, that you can't
It's
have, I guess, the confidence or the grace to age in a way that's, like, respectful of yourself.
it's so freaking sad. It's so sad, but it also is like a thing for me. Like, this is what not to do. Like, I don't want to end up like Madonna. Like, holy fucking shit. That's
Yeah,
messed up.
this is bad.
It's weird because it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy for these people because they're like, we don't want to become like ugly and irrelevant and
They're probably so afraid of
insane.
looking old, but
Yeah.
they'd rather look like a fucking bloated alien than look old.
Yeah. Like exactly. Like she'd rather look like a fucking alien creature than look old because I mean, that's kind of like what would happen to her, right? She would have wrinkles. Like she would have wrinkles. Like her face wouldn't be as smooth as it is in this
Yeah.
image. You know, she would just just ladies age gracefully, man. Like just still I want to look human when I grow
Bet
old.
Andrew Thomas is already getting ready for, like, when this channel is, like, when I'm 80 and I still well, 64. I'm like, "I will just go on this channel." I love that you will still be a fan till then, Andrew. You're the best.
Oh,
Thank
can
you.
you imagine like you're 80 and you're still YouTubing?
But I will rely on the chat to keep me in check. Yeah.
Mm. You know, I think I would do it. I would
Do
be an
what?
80-year-old YouTuber.
Why not? Isn't it
I'll
I feel
I'll
like our
just
generation's gonna be so cool.
I'll
I
just
can't wait.
read. I'll just read books. I'll be
Yeah.
like, it's reading time with Grandma
Oh,
Infinity.
stop it. Who wants to see this? No one wants
No.
to see
Oh
this.
God.
It looks like she put concealer all over her eyebrows. No.
I
No,
feel
Madonna.
so
Madonna
bad
is
for her.
fucking there's something wrong with her mind, like, she put out some really crazy remember those videos she put out during the pandemic of her in, like, a milk bath,
The
and she was like,
milk bath,
"The
yeah.
pandemic comes for everyone. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're rich."
Yeah.
Ugh. Maybe she just feels like my only value is from me being, like, young and sexy, and I don't know who I am if I'm not those things.
Ugh, like this is what happens when you put too much relevance and extremely like extreme importance on your physical beauty and your physical appearance. And like, you don't want like I don't know. To me, the insides are
Yeah.
what matters, the soul, like at the end of the day, we're like
Ugh.
these meat bodies are just, our soul containers.
Soul containers, yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, it's like, the ghost in the shell. Like that's the age-old story. Like it's the body is not the end. That this is just a vessel that our souls are into. And the vessel's gonna get old and it's gonna pass
Mhm.
away. And it's just that's part of life. And I don't know, it's just really sad to me that this woman can't with all the money that she has, with all of the things that she's, seen and experienced and all of that, as if it's like it doesn't mean anything. That's all she cares
Right.
about is this like
She has
everlasting
kids.
beauty.
She's traveled the world. She has a music career that, like,
Mhm.
anyone would be envious of. She's legendary. She's reached legendary status,
Yep.
and
Immortal in a way, because
yeah,
I don't think anyone will ever forget her music, on
it's
on
true.
this earth.
She looks good, but she wasn't a 10, and that's the thing is, like, she was quirky. She was, like, the
Mhm.
kind of like the girl next door,
Yeah. I've
and
always loved
even
her.
all of the Kardashians used to look like girl next door. Like, if you look at their early photos, they looked regular
Mhm.
as fuck, but they
Yep.
all have the same work done by the same people, and they all yes, they all look still related, but they're all getting the same nose jobs, they're all getting the same BBLs, they're all getting the same work
Mhm.
done to their face, so it's like they still look
They
related,
all
but
look
they
the same now. It's weird,
yeah.
especially Chloe, because Chloe was like the most
She was the
different
ugly one,
one.
she got so
Mhm.
much shit.
Got so much shit. I mean, everybody thought she was, like, not even a real Kardashian. Like, everybody thought that.
That she was OJ's.
Mhm.
I still think that
Yeah.
possible.
Do you
Yeah.
think it's true? Do you think she has OJs?
It's possible. At this point, like, she's probably like, "I'm just gonna keep getting surgery until people stop saying I'm OJ's kid. That's what it's gonna take."
I know.
Papa Towns for 10. We could have had a Nina Chrissy show sooner, but great things are worth the wait.
Aw,
Oh,
that's so sweet.
because I was like, "What? I haven't had you on, Nina? What the fuck?"
Aw.
Bird
Well,
up
here
talk.
I am.
Here you are. The talk of grandparents makes me remember my grandma. She died 5 years ago, and my family hasn't been the same since. She kept us all together. I feel this
Aw.
because this was my mom. She was the glue,
Rest
and
in
now we're
peace.
very untethered now. I maybe talk to people, like, once a month. I used to be really close to my
Wow.
sister. Nobody gives a fuck what I'm up to is what I've realized, like, which is fine, but it's, like,
Oh,
it's sobering.
that's crazy. I don't have any
Yeah,
siblings, so I don't know how that works really. Like, because my family is basically my husband and his family, and of
yeah,
course my mom. But being a single child, it's like you never really experience those kind of things about with siblings or sibling rivalries, which like, my husband has actually. And like, that's alien to me. I'm like, I don't understand how you guys can like not get along. Like you have to be thankful to have each other because it's good to have sisters and brothers and siblings. And I don't have it. So I appreciate it. And they're like, you don't have it. That's why you say that. Like, shut the fuck
right,
up.
and plenty of people have siblings where, like, they do some fucked up shit to them, they're not on speaking
Mm,
terms, like, they're toxic, so and
yeah.
my mom was an only child also, so it made, like, her parents' death very hard because she's harder and also easy in a way. She didn't have to fight over what to do with other people, it's just
Mhm.
whatever she wanted. At the same time,
Yeah.
it was all on her shoulders.
Yeah. I'm dreading that a lot.
It's alright, don't worry about that yet. Arafatas. Chrissy doesn't want to pull like Joe Biden before she dies. No, I don't wanna fall upstairs or off a bike.
Do you remember those commercials like, "Help, I'm falling and I
I
can't get
can't get
up."
up.
Oh god, those always crack me up for some reason.
They were funny. Like, if I were ever on a bathroom floor, I don't know, I would just if I were old, I'd be like, I'd just wait for someone to find me, and then I'd be really passive aggressive about it. Be like, "Yeah, I was on the floor for 6 hours. Nobody came. What, you got something better to do?" I would just see how long I could wait there.
Oh, that's funny.
Guess
I'd
you don't
probably do
care
that
about
too.
old grandma,
Did
living
you
in
see
a
that one grandma thing? I shared it on my good news show. I don't know if you saw it or not, but there was this one grandma TikTok like it was a person that was posting a video about their grandmas like on TikTok, and the grandma had like a list and it was like put on the wall, and like she had like the best grandchildren like numbered and like ranked.
Oh, yeah, that was actually, I think, my buddy Dan Lamort's grandma. I think he must have submitted that to the New York Post or something. Like, it was
Oh,
like they ranked
really?
the grandkids by how they did that week or something.
Yeah, yeah, that was great. I shared that on my show last week because I was
Oh,
like, "Oh
that
my
is
god, that's
funny.
hilarious."
That is awesome. Yeah, living in a material world, and she's definitely a material girl. Oh, yeah, she's got a lot of material all up in her.
Mhm.
NVIDIA looking forward to content retirement home. Oh, wouldn't that be great?
Oh,
There'd be so much syphilis.
oh my god, and it'll definitely have to be in Florida because that's where all the old people go to.
Yes, definitely. That would be great. Let's plan it now. There's gonna be a lot of soft foods,
Yeah, a lot of
um,
Jello.
a lot of music that we like. There's gonna be a
Jello
lot of
shots.
saggy tattoos probably by then.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Oh my
A lot
god.
of, mahjong and,
Oh,
all
yeah.
yeah, all those kinda games like I don't know what old
They
people
do,
like.
they play mahjong. Some old lady out of nowhere, I got wrapped up into this group text where somebody thought I was their, like, friend Helen on their mahjong team. So I was just like, "How long can I keep this going for?" And so she's texting me about, like, where to meet up for this card game, and I'm like, I'm just pretending I know, like, I'm responding back and forth, and then, like, eventually she figured it out that it
Oh
wasn't
my
her.
god. I don't know how to play mahjong, and nobody ever taught me
I
that
have no
one.
idea what the fuck it is, yeah.
Bingo. Somebody said bingo. Yeah, bingo's good. Gotta play a lot of bingo.
A lot of little blue pills. Oh,
Oh my god. Yeah, we're gonna need those.
that's why you gotta find someone who really loves you for you. Because, damn, if you're a fuckboy for too long, you're gonna miss your window.
I don't know if Nick Cannon's gonna have that problem.
Wow, but you know what? He'll have 11 kids to visit him.
Maybe more by the time he's older.
And odds are, like, he'll probably be close with some of those kids.
Odds are he probably has more kids that he doesn't even know about.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's probably true.
What?
But why would
it's
you not
true.
wanna collect on that, like, gravy train? Like, if you're someone who hooked up with Nick Cannon at any point and then got pregnant, I'd be like,
Unless you don't know who the baby daddy is, like you're so slutty. That
when in doubt,
happens.
just say the baby daddy is Nick Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nick Cannon's already 56? No way. Wow.
That's crazy. That's like when I found out Steven Tyler had a kid like when he was like 74, like
Ugh.
76 or something like that. I forget how old he was,
Imagine
but
a
like
kid who just grows up and it's real slow and, like,
Ye
already acts like an old person, like a Benjamin Button situation. I was made from old sperm. I'm very wise.
Oh, can you imagine? That'd be hilarious.
Oh my god, Incontinence House. Fuck, you guys are so funny. Incontinence House. Oh my god. Alright, I'm so thirsty and my water dish is empty.
Do you wanna go get some water? I can hold it down if you want.
Yep.
Yeah, I can hold it down.
Okay. You can have a private moment, just you in the chat.
Oh, okay. See you in a minute.
Da, da, da.
What's up, chat? Duke says cash for life. Nvidia says stay hydrated. Yeah, that's right. Stay hydrated. Gotta take a nervous sip. Cavatinho says Larry King was making babies until he died. Damn. Yes, this is the Chrissie Mayr podcast. Chrissie Mayr Infinity podcast. Old people are a lot of fun though. They're really I like their stories. But Madonna though, man, Madonna, oof. Poor Madonna. I feel bad for her.
Oops.
Hi, you're back. That was quick. Nothing. I was just saying I feel bad for Madonna because she's fucking insane now.
Why is no one in her life being like, girl, it's enough? Like, you look like you're gonna pop.
I know. Like,
I would hope that I have a good friend who's like, okay, it's starting to be, I fully understand a nip, a tuck, a tweak. But what she looks like takes a lot of work, and that's a lot of money. I mean, she has all the money, but like,
the money
that's a
thing,
lot of trips.
Yeah, the money thing I wouldn't really care about because it's like, who cares? She's made of money. But like, you don't look good. Like, you look awful. Like, it's like, I don't know what's happening to you. Like, but you don't look good. So,
Right.
I don't know. Just stop it. Like, like just stop it. Just stop doing this. I feel like
put yourself on the plate. See what happens.
What is her kid? Like, I know like I think her son basically disowned her. Like her son doesn't want to live with her anymore. I heard that he like lives with Guy Ritchie. Like he like refused to like see her now.
Damn.
And stuff. That's what I heard like a while ago. I don't know if that's still the case, but I know that he doesn't want to live with her or have anything to do with her. I don't know about what's going on with the daughter recently though, because they had a pretty good relationship for a while, but now I don't know if the daughter is still like in her life or what she's doing anymore. I haven't kept track of what happened to her.
His daughter, Lord Ace.
Yeah, Lord Ace.
Looks just like her.
Yeah, she used to look really similar to her, like her mom in her younger days when she looked like a human being.
Who is Madonna's daughter? Everything to know about Lourdes Leon. Yeah, no one's talked about her in a while. Maybe she's like staying low key. Looks just like her.
Looks just like Madonna.
But also like looks like everyone from Long Island at the same time.
That's funny.
Like
Well, you could
ve-
totally see the Madonna in her though. Like there's a
yeah. Let's see. She's a mother of 6. Not Lourdes, but Madonna.
Madonna.
So what is Lourdes up to? What? Now it's this other shit. I hate when the articles do
I hate
this.
that.
You know what? Fuck Yahoo.
That's so annoying.
You know, Yahoo, I really tried with you. I wanted yeah, okay, here's her again. She kind of looks like Lady Gaga.
I remember her when she was
Yeah.
like this.
See, remember, this is Madonna when she was still like, okay, probably
Normal.
doing a little Botox, just but like still looked like herself.
Yeah, she still looked like herself then.
Something happened in the
Yeah.
last, I don't know.
She went crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to her, but she was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go alien now.
I will literally look like an alien.
Yeah.
I'm
It's kind of
really
fucked up.
still pissed by Yahoo. Yahoo! I miss Ask Jeeves. What happened to Ask Jeeves? From
Oh
Not Relevant
yeah.
Season 5. I can't tell if Madge is turning into Angeline or Genesis Porridge. Pete Orridge. I don't know either of those things.
I don't
Thank
know.
you.
I don't know.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh yawning. All right, we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
I love you, Nina. You're the
I love
best.
you, Chrissy.
I hope
Thank you
I
so
meet
much
you
for
in
having
person.
me on tonight.
Let's meet in person one day and not be pen pals.
Yes, definitely.
Where can people follow you? What is coming up?
You can find me on my channel, Nina Infinity. Well, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about good news because it's Good News
Yay.
Fridays, which I'm trying to get Chrissy on because there's been several requests for you to come on Infinite Hope.
What's so funny in the chat is wrap it up, unlike Nick Cannon.
Oh, wow. That's an amazing comment. Yeah, so I'm trying to get you on that. I think Friday the 25th may be the day that Chrissie Mayr will make it on Infinite Hope, possibly.
Ooh.
And but until then, tomorrow at 2:45 Eastern, I'll be on Infinite Hope on my channel.
Infinite
And
Ho?
then Infinite Hope.
That's the Nick Cannon show. Infinite
Yeah,
Ho.
Infinite Ho. Infinite Hoes. Infinite Hoes that I'm making to baby mamas. So that, and then Sunday I have the my entertainment show, which is fun, and it's before Simpcast. It starts before Simpcast, so everybody can come here and there. And also, you can find me on my Twitter account, and I will be announcing my calendar, cosplay calendar, very soon. I was planning on doing it tonight, but it didn't work out. So hopefully tomorrow, and we'll get that going, and it's going to be super fun. I'm excited. I'm excited to do this project. It's going to be really cool. So thank you again, Chrissy, for having me on. It's been really
Thank
fun.
you for coming. Bird Up said Madonna got the Pfizer face.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Nah. No, she's been like injecting shit into her face for a long time. Like
That's like Juvederm. That's like
yeah.
That's not just Botox. That's like injectables. That's like
Yeah.
when you, especially when you are an older white lady, you're trying to make cheeks happen again. You gotta put some stuff in there.
Her face literally looks like a cartoon. Like it's like
yeah. Hi, I'm Madonna. I'm still young and sexy. I'm trying to date a 30-year-old, even though I was born during the Lyndon B. Johnson presidency.
I want to look young, so I'm gonna look like this.
Because we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl. All right, I have to stop before no one jerks off to me ever again.
Hold on, one more from me. Like a virgin, touch for the very first time.
Touch for the last time.
I know, right?
Video, make sure you watch Nina tomorrow for your weekly dose of white pills. I'm a white pill supremacist. I don't know if I told you that.
Ooh, no.
I think it's always better to be in a good mood.
Oh, that's funny.
That too much? All right. Guys, come see me this weekend at McGuire's in Bohemia out in Long Island. Then we got the super secret Censored TV Compound Media collab show
Ooh.
November 10th. I have heard somewhere in Queens, but I think it's tiny URL something. I don't know. I'll have to post the link or something. New York City, Queens, somewhere. And then the New Brunswick Stress Factory, November 17th. Then somewhere in Jersey, December 3rd. And then I don't know. I have to look at the calendar again. This was great. Thank you, chat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Yeah,
Nina.
thank you.
And I don't think I will be on Friday Night Tights because I think I have this show.
Ooh.
Maybe maybe a little bit, and I'll have to drive out there, but maybe not. Okay. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.